Cast. My name is Josh Corey, here with you each and every Friday with the Iron Realm. Thanks for tuning in. It's going to be a big one. Normally, this is where I'd put music in, but naturally, as soon as I go live, everything on my computer starts to lag and freeze, and naturally, that's just the way things go.
Normally, this is where you realise you had it on mute, and then we have to start again. So just making sure everyone hear us.
I'm pretty sure they can hear us. I wish I could. I mean, my whole computer's frozen up. There's not much I can do but talk. I mean, I see YouTube. It's live. It's green.
Yeah, I'm on the YouTube on my iPhone, and I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything happening.
So
Mine says offline.
Start late.
All right, do a big system restart.
I'm sorry.
Which sucks because I did that. I never do a full system reboot because things are usually running smoothly.
Stan's in chat.
I've got live now showing. 6
Can
watching.
he hear us? Can Stan hear us?
Yep, Stan can hear us.
Good. That's slow.
Yep, all right, let's go for it.
Let's go from the top.
No, there's no way. My computer's not doing anything.
We're going to do a restart, folks. We should be
All
up
right.
and running.
It wouldn't be Flat Earth Friday if we didn't have some Flat Earth failures. There we go. I heard the dick. Is that it?
Nope.
That was my dick.
And on that note, I might restart as well.
Great. You'd think we would do this already, which we have. But of course, we have to naturally do it all live.
Well, since this is our debut show, I mean,
Right.
welcome to our first show ever. My gosh.
Sure.
And Stan, that's me and my birds, because it's 7
so
o'clock in the
we
morning
can't hear-
here. My
Oh,
birds
those
are
of you who can
everywhere
hear
at
us,
this
my
time of the morning.
goodness.
Well, if you're talking to Stan, see if he and Cosmic are coming on because we should be needing them within 20 minutes.
Mitch, half of this trouble getting on is them shadow banning us and blocking Josh's computer so that we stall every week and look like
Well,
we're
every
on
Friday, Google
shit
is
together.
flooded with people, or they're really doing something. It's got to be one of the two. It's either the traffic or it's something on
Why don't they do anybody else? Why are we the only
No,
ones?
Richie said,
Each and every week. This is going to be a good show. I'm excited about it. The 21st. Thanks for joining us. Glad everybody's here. Oh, what a big week. Walter, how has your week been?
it has been quite interesting, to say the least, sir. I've had a lot of interesting things going on here, just, visiting family that I don't get to see much. And then I was actually surprised last night when my brother, who is not a flat earther, took me to the Portland Flat Earth meetup. So it was quite interesting. I met, it wound up being 22 people, actually. We didn't expect that many. There were only 6 confirmed on the little invitation that the guy sent out. Met some people that some of you may know already from YouTube. D Marble with Flat Earth Offensive was there. He's the one who did the spirit level on the airplane that kind of blew up really big on real news, not just Flat Earth news. The guy who organized it all, who set up this whole Flat Earth Oregon thing, Chris Cox, great guy. He's the guy who kind of put it all together. He definitely very motivated guy. I have to say that Chris has a lot of energy, and I think this Flat Earth Oregon thing is going to be really big. And then there's people right there in Washington. That's actually where D Marble came down from, is from Washington. And he had like 3 or 4 people that came there from Washington. So they're going to start trying to do some meetups there, you know, up there in the state above us. So, but I don't want to fill up all the time right now with that. Let's go ahead and say hi to everybody else.
That is awesome. Still, that's exciting. It's always great to get out there and mingle with other flat earthers. Sweet. John, how are you this week?
Very well there, Walt. And Josh, yeah, good week. Pottering away. Not much really happening.
Well, that's good. Slow and steady wins the race. Rob, how about you? How's your week been? I'm sure you're there with the birds.
Yeah, I am here with the birds. Yeah, I caught up with Ross during the week. He got back from South America doing his straight through flight there and back. I think he stopped in actually New Zealand on the way home for a couple of hours. But all his little experiments that he didn't really work out properly. But he doesn't have the gear like Paul did. But he has got some interesting stuff to say. So I hope we might be able to get him on next week for a bit of a chat. Would be good. He was talking about if he leaves, or just one thing that he was saying was if he leaves Australia at midday, how is he getting to South America at midday as well? Because I think he took off from here at, let's say, 11:30 in the morning, and he landed in South America also at 11:30 in the morning. So he's gone across the other side of the globe, and apparently, and you have to hear it in his words, because the way he was saying it was very, very interesting. So, but I was very, very busy at work this week, so I had to shoo him out of my office, because once you get Ross going, you can't stop him. You can't stop him. So, and then everyone else gets angry at him as well, because he just takes up the whole office and just goes off. So I hope to. I'd love to get him on next week and have a bit of a chat to him about his little trip. Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Definitely get a hold of him and see if he can come on. We even talked to him in several months at this point. We need to get him back on and just to catch up with him in general.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Adam, how about you? You're always a busy boy. What have you been up to this week?
For once, not a great deal. I've been sending off the little YouTube links to the Moonlight experiment this week to a lot of people, and got to be honest, I've been thoroughly underwhelmed with the response. So not a great deal. I'm waiting for some feedback, guys, really, and sadly still waiting, but we'll see what goes. I know Walt's had a chat and met D Marble, so I'm hoping that one of the more prominent Moonlight experimenters might have a little review of it and see what he thinks, and take it from there. But other than that, I'm kind of prepping for experimentation for when we head off to Italy. So I'm going to pack up the Moonlight stuff now and get that ready to try and do a similar set of tests and the new ones in a different geographical location. So we'll see where that leads.
I plugged your experiment many times to many people yesterday, sir. I was all excited, and they were all excited. They can't wait to see it and to read this paper you're going to write up.
Yeah, I think realistically that is a holiday. I've got the laptop; it's coming with me, and that'll be finished mid-August, I would have thought. So I'll publish that as a final piece. Obviously, the abstracts there, the result, the findings of the experiment are there. But as for its full publishment, I expect sort of middle of August to have that just finished as a paper, not anything overly detailed. Like I say, it's comparative, but as a scientific paper.
I'm looking to do the same with the gyroscope experiments as well. So hopefully we can have 2 papers we can point at.
Looking forward to it, Rolf.
Yeah, I'm not.
Still, that'd be pretty awesome, just having those 2 papers.
I haven't written scientific papers for 20 years now. Sorry, Josh.
No, it's quite all right. I was going to say that's going to shut a lot of people up or make them dig their heels in either way. But there's
They'll
not
just
that
look
many,
and go, ha ha.
Yeah.
That's it. What I found interesting, couple of last week or whatever, researching Einstein, was his theory of relativity or whatever was completely unreferenced. No references to it whatsoever. So it's literally internet quality. I've got better referenced work on my blog than Einstein's theory of relativity. I found that was quite interesting. Anyway.
That is interesting.
You wouldn't get away with it
they
today.
That's what the statement of the University of, was it Berlin or somebody, when they wrote back to him and said, I think it's more fantasy than
That's right.
physics.
Yeah.
Great.
Hi guys.
Hey,
How you
James,
doing?
I'm just getting to you. I didn't forget about you. I'm getting there.
I was feeling a little left out, I guess.
I'm sure you were.
Hi, James.
Hi, Einstein and
Hello,
the other
James.
brother there.
Sorry, whittering on here.
Sorry, dude.
That's all right. I love you guys. No, I had a busy week. I flew cross country, and I'm visiting with mom and dad, and I am relaxing. I'm enjoying myself. And I'm probably not going to talk so much this week just because of the setup, but I'm really looking forward to the show. And take it away.
Well, I
Glad
figured.
you have time off, James. That's awesome, man. How long are you gonna get to be over there? You think?
Just another week, but it's been great. It's a perfect amount, and then back to work, back home, and get her done.
That's the way to do it.
And I know that she didn't want this, but I'm gonna do it anyways because I love her. Aaron is listening to this for the first time, so I'm really proud of. Thank you.
Hey,
That's
hello,
awesome.
Aaron.
Hello, Aaron. We're so
Hello, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
Hello.
Good evening, Aaron.
Holy cow, that's gonna be funny. All right.
Excellent. So yeah, my week's been pretty quiet too. Yeah, I'm never really doing much. I try to spend a little time down here in the dungeon, either working on video editing or trying to research or get stuff ready for the show, or I'm working my slave job, or I'm spending time with my girlfriend and my son and all that good stuff. But that's what I do every week, so this week's been no exception. That being said, it's been a pretty busy week in the flat earth. DITRH lost his channel and had to put up a new one. So I thought that was strange and unusual. I guess not really for YouTube. They've known to just kill channels for arbitrary reason.
Did he get
I
copyright
think he's
or
been
something?
reposting. Yeah, 3 of them from videos from years, or probably years ago. So that's how they've done him over. But I think he's been reposting a lot of his old videos.
Yeah, I've seen them be going up.
So yeah.
That's a pain in the ass.
They
isn't
do.
it?
It is a real pain.
Yeah,
in the
he's got
ass. It
some
got me
good stuff. Yeah, David would nearly be my favourite, I'd reckon. He's I love his short. He does those short 2 and 3 minute videos because the attention span of a lot of people isn't real great these days, is it? From all the ads, but the 2 and 3 minute videos on the sun perspective and that sort of stuff are brilliant.
The same
Brilliant
happened
work.
with ODD, didn't it? He had the same thing. They took his channel down. He had to put it all back up again. And sat in the corner crying for a couple of weeks, which I don't blame him at all.
No, I need getting our shows downloaded and put on hard drive just in case that ever happens.
What, you mean you don't
Or just-
listen back to them?
Well, there's YouTube. Of course I listen back. What do I have to download it for? I only have limited.
Right. We need to say.
Just on what Rob was saying there in terms of he's one of my favourites, I don't think that's even relevant. I think at times like this, when it's a clear takedown, even if you didn't like Dirthan, it's hard not to like him. He's nice, isn't he, David? You know what I mean? His manner's lovely, so it's hard not to like him. But even if you didn't, kind of support Flat Earth. They've taken somebody down. Even if you weren't subscribed before and you're aware of this, subscribe now, is what I would say.
Protect your family, right, Adam? That's a great thought, brother.
We'll stick the link in description.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I'll add in 2 cents on just my little channel, nothing compared to his, but I got the weirdest thing. It's the first censorship that I've experienced. I put up a video with the balloon. Remember the balloon footage video?
Yep.
It was like 2 weeks ago. So they flagged that as being inappropriate. And they took it down and they demonetized it and they said it was inappropriate. So I was like, inappropriate? Why is this inappropriate? I'm showing balloon footage from the stratosphere. Like, what's going on here? So I had to change the picture, re-upload it twice, and then they approved it. Isn't that weird? It's wild.
What was the picture?
The picture was a map, and the second picture was a computer map of Google Earth following the balloon, and then finally, I don't know what it is on now, but I had to change it twice. So very weird.
Joke. Well, who knew that copyright laws would turn into censorship and complete fascism? We all knew this was the way it was going to head when they proposed copyright laws back in the 90s or whatever it was. Backdoor authoritarianism.
Do you think this could be targeted, though? Do you think maybe they're going to start targeting these Flat Earth because Flat Earth's basically sort of taking over YouTube? You think they're just going to...
I think they'll do it on keywords soon. Yeah, it'll be an algorithm. It won't be someone pushing a button saying, yeah, get rid of him, I don't like Earth. No, it'll just be, he's mentioned Flat Earth 47 times, that's it, kill his channel.
Or they're just going to make the standards more stringent, so everything's going to be a real pain in the butt just to try to upload a video and to keep it online and monetized and yours.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be.
I think it's a big step, isn't it, from what's happened to David, which could be just some scrope doing 3 copyright strikes, to where you can see it heading, which is, as we're alluding to, algorithms and the likes to identify channels as opposed to something more. But
I mean, it was originally... Sorry, Adam.
Yeah, sorry, I was just saying, I was just going to recap. I think it's a step away, that point, yeah. But what we can see at the moment in terms of the actions that are occurring right now is that it's clearly an intent. Whether the infrastructure is quite there yet to achieve their goals, what they're probably testing at the moment is whether or not they can get away with it. And that's why I alluded to now. Well, if David had X amount of subscribers before they took him down, let's the Flat Earth make sure he's got 2x subscribers when he comes back, as he comes back up. And let's send a message. It's important that David doesn't have less than he started with.
Well, I mean, looking at what the copyright laws were initially, what they were sold to us as, that you couldn't steal someone's album or whatever and put it out and sell it, or rip it onto a CD and sell it on eBay, whatever it was, that you're stealing all this money from legitimate sources of multimedia and music and that sort of thing. And now, I mean, it's like when I stream this, I'll get a copyright for any music that Josh puts on or whatever, even though you guys, you'll fight your copyrights or whatever. I haven't got time for any of that crap. So, there'll be 20 seconds of some music you can't even identify, and they'll copyright it. I mean, that's not how it was meant to work.
No, it's abuse of powers. It's when any legislation comes in, powers that be will try to abuse it for their own nefarious ends, won't they? I mean, if you look at councils using anti-terrorism legislation to catch people parking or scrutinise other things, or
take down a flag in your front garden.
Yeah, exactly. And they access that evidence through nefarious. That's the that's the beginning of it. And like I say, what we're seeing now is, will the people tolerate what's going off? And we've got a choice, haven't we?
Well, we should be leaving YouTube in our droves, but there's no alternative at the moment.
Not yet.
I was going to say that's what I think we need. I think if there's anything that we should crowd fund for the flat Earth, it's our own flat Earth tube, our own.
Now that's
video.
an idea.
Copyright Iron Rim Media 2017.
Flat tube.
Flat tube, something that we can not have to worry about all these arbitrary computer web bot crawlers coming through and just trying to find audio that they can throw up a copyright strike just to try to skim a little bit of money off the top before they can bring it down.
But
people.
If it could be made a distributed network so that everyone is, like SETI or whatever, where everyone's hosting everything, or like the Onion or Tor or that sort of thing, then there's no sort of building that you can take out that'll take everything out along with it. Everything's RAID 0 or whatever it is, and redundancy.
Yeah, there's some really intelligent people out there in the flat Earth that are far more intelligent than me and far better versed in this stuff. But there's got to be a way that we can seed it through multiple users or something that we can relinquish control but keep all these videos without the fear of them being ripped down and lost forever. We need to start better documenting this stuff so that YouTube can't come and just wipe it all out. Because really, if YouTube goes down, how many flat Earth videos, how much information would we lose just through YouTube alone?
I mean, I've got pages and pages of a document with links for everything, and it's all categorized and all that sort of thing. But you go through it 6 months later, half those links are dead.
Really?
Yep. So it's and I only take the really good information, the really good videos or whatever, and then put it in this document. And then numerous, like, what was that Callum guy? Right at the very beginning, did some groundbreaking experiments and stuff, really simple stuff, and they took his channel out. I think he died. Did he?
Geez, I don't know. That'd be horrible if he did, though.
He did, yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, Aaron Dover is.
Oh, that's another one. Yeah, Aaron Dover. That's another one.
He's another one that's gone as well.
Has any of this ever been confirmed? I heard someone saw the obit for Aaron Dover, but do we know that he's gone or just not there?
The video showed the obituary that I saw when all that went down.
Unless someone knows him, we won't really
That's
know.
all I can go. Yeah, that's all I can go by.
Weird. So, John, you got an interesting tweet.
I would just add to that. Aaron Dover's an intrigue, someone I followed, quite interesting in terms of the information he put out there. And you guys have seen some of the stuff I did with magnets. And maybe we should do that if you want to do an Aaron Dover stuff on some of the stuff that I found out I didn't manage to replicate or generate enough power, but I certainly showed that what he was talking about wasn't nonsense. There was something behind it.
What's that sort of free energy devices things, was it?
Oh, yeah. That was his big push, was that the energy is everywhere and they're just sucking it out of the air with buildings and towers and even spider webs are able to do it.
Makes sense.
So, John, I had that tweet that you got this earlier this week. Someone was tweeting you about a pendulum during the eclipse that's upcoming.
Yeah, and they wanted to build a pendulum for the upcoming eclipse in order to look at the Alais effect, ALLAIS effect on it. Adam, have you done any research on Alais? I've been researching pendulums in general this week, but
Not specifically on top of what we'd looked at this week. I assume you're referring to the eclipse effect, or
Yeah. What is it? They stop during the eclipse, or they go back the other way, or
or some kind of retrograde effect on the standard assumed effect of the pendulum was my understanding of it. During an eclipse, there appears to be a retrograding of the motion.
I mean, from my research, the retrograding is nothing new at all. Even when there's not an eclipse, it goes. Almost all of them. Where was it? There was an eyewitness. Here we go. There was an eyewitness to Foucault's initial experiment. It was a doctor. I'm going to screw this up. Scofer. Who was an eyewitness to the thing. And let me see if I can read. The pendulum was tied. The string was burnt, the swinging began, but the pendulum deviated to the left instead of to the right, and it was hastily brought to a rest. And then on the following morning, they set it off again, and they said, go away, come back the same time tomorrow, and you'll see how amazing it is. So on the following morning, he says, however, we saw that the pendulum during the night had changed its mind. And had from the deviation to the left again returned to from the right again returned to the left. So, I mean, it's he summed it up as much more could be said against this quotation marks beautiful experiment, which the media were selling it as at the time. Though beautiful it may seem to the theorist, it certainly is far from being irrefragable evidence for the Earth's motion. So, I mean, that everything about the Foucault pendulum is a bit of a joke. But whether it's tied in with the eclipse or not, I don't know. But as far as I can tell, Foucault pendulums are a complete law unto themselves, and they can go any which way they want, at any rate they want, and everything in between.
So for anybody that has to deal with some of these ball earth trolls that like to get all up in your face and trying to throw Foucault's pendulum in there as proof of the Earth's motion, feel free to go over to savageplane.wordpress.com and check out John's blog, where you can find several posts on this subject. So you'll be able to arm yourself with some info next time they try to throw that in your face.
Yeah, there's quite an interesting post on there about how it's used as a religious tool as well, which is really quite interesting. It's a guy who's been doing a 20-year research study on the Foucault pendulum, which is, that's commitment. And his, I can't find it at the moment, but his general gist was it's a joke. The whole thing's a joke. I mean, George Airy's failure. He said, and Baden Powell as well, the starter of the Cubs or whatever, said in private correspondence, Airy had repeatedly dismissed the Foucault pendulum experiment as a fraud. Now, this is the 7th Royal Astronomer Royal, and he regarded the latitude-dependent formula, that bogus 360 degrees sin times latitude, gives you the amount of how long it's going to take to do a 360. He regarded the latitude-independent formula for the period of the apparent precession of the pendulum as a mathematical curiosity.
Shouldn't it take 24 hours?
As far as I'm concerned, yeah, it should, but they'll say it's dependent
There's
on
no
your latitude.
mathematical equation for that. It's 24 hours. It should turn in 24 hours.
Yeah, it should be 15
no matter where
degrees
you are.
per hour.
No matter where you are. Yeah, no matter where you are. Yeah.
Well, there's
That's
only
the
two
first
configurations it won't work. Carry on.
That's the first disproof. None of them show a 24-hour, unless they're powered mechanically above. None of them show a rotation over 24 hours. So,
Well, the one at the South Pole does, apparently. But my word, how they had to fudge it in order to make it work.
Mm.
I mean, if you go through their write-up, it is absolutely hilarious.
Can I just, sorry to butt in, just an observation I made this week too about the sun and the moon and what the way the moon looked to me. I think it was on Wednesday morning. I was going to work, so looking from a globe point, I had the sun hadn't risen yet, so it wasn't visible. It was still below the horizon on a globe model, and I had the moon probably at about 20 degrees, I suppose, maybe 30 degrees, and the moon, the bottom of the moon was in the shadow, so I couldn't see the bottom of the moon. It should be the other way around. The shadow of the moon should have been on top, shouldn't it?
Explain that again, Rob. Explain it again.
Well, the sun hadn't risen yet, so it was below the horizon on a globe model. The moon was in the west, so it's just setting.
Mm-hmm.
And the bottom of the moon is unseen. It's the top of the moon that was seen, so it was like a 3/4 moon. But the bottom of the moon is the bit that can't be seen, where it should be the top of the moon, because the sun is lower than the moon. So the bottom of the moon should have been the bit that was lit up, not the top of the moon.
You mean the standard crescent effect?
Yeah.
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 So it was orientated the wrong way, the moon.
Yeah. The top of the moon. Okay. The top of the moon should have been in the shadow. Yeah. It was the wrong way around. But I was at work and I didn't have a camera on me. I've busted my phone, so I couldn't do anything. I couldn't. Yeah. Just an observation. That'll be
I see that a lot, Rob. I mean, I see it. I made a video about it too, about just the fact that, it just doesn't line up most of the time.
Yeah.
Most.
I mean, if you've done a lot,
that's the wrong way around for me.
Drawing or art or anything about like light angles on a ball or on a sphere, if you've studied that at all, which I did for like 4 years in college, I can't tell you the number of spheres I had to draw and render correct and all this crap. And the light has to fall a certain way on the sphere, and there's only certain angles that you're going to get those crescents at, and most of the time it's up and behind that moon. It's not at the horizon or on the other side of the ball or wherever it is at that point in time.
And I might add there too, like John was the one who said to me he believes probably the moon's a bulb, like a light bulb. What I saw there would work on the flat Earth model if the sun is higher than the moon, just slightly higher than the moon, and it is lighting up the moon. The sun is lighting up the moon. We don't know what the sun is, so there's definitely a cold light coming off the moon. But if we are on a flat Earth, and the sun was higher than the moon, that's what you would see. You know what I mean? And the sun is shining. It is lighting up the moon, which I do believe. It is lighting up the moon. It's just they aren't in the positions that we think they are. Because the sun is higher. It's not rising. It's not coming over the horizon of a globe. It's higher than the Earth, higher than the moon in the sky. It's just further away, so it's lighting up that moon. Just the way that I seen it. That might be hard for everyone to understand because I'm talking as I'm thinking. Yeah?
No, I got you.
Yeah. Nope, just an observation, guys. You notice more these days, don't you? Just stare there for half an hour and just look at it and try and work out what's going on.
So today we're going to try to get Stan Smith on, along with Cosmic Surfer. We need to talk 360 cameras. We recently had a discussion last week where we might be in a position where we need to get a 360 camera. We thought, well, who better to talk with than Stan Smith, Cosmic Surfer, and Zed Proxy? And I know Zed Proxy is a little bashful and isn't too keen to come on, but Stan Smith and Cosmic Surfer volunteered to come on. So while Stan is trying to round up Cosmic Surfer so that I can send them a link to the Hangout, we are going to talk about Adam and an email that he sent to a YouTube channel called the Horry Sheet Show. HORRYSHEET. Horry Sheet Show. Adam, you want to tell the people about that email and what prompted it?
Well, yeah. Again, I think I alluded to it at the start of the show. I've just been tweeting out the YouTube link to last week's show with the Moonlight Experiment, hoping for people to get a bit of exposure and get some feedback. And excuse me, I was watching the Horry Sheet Show this week, and us guys got a good shout out from him. Based on some of Paul on the Plains work, but I think he also gave us a little separate mention, and then that, and I thought that was really kind of him. So I just gave him a shout saying thanks for that. And have you seen this week's show with the Moonlight Experiment? So got a response back, and yeah, been quite positive. So hopefully he's going to do a review in the next few weeks, or have a little look at it, and one of the people that maybe give me some feedback, which I'm looking forward to.
Excellent. Actually, now that I'm saying that, really, why did I not pull that up just to play that little clip? I heard it, but then I didn't watch it.
From a production standpoint, his whole setup is so brilliant. Standing behind an old 70s console TV like a news desk and using the screen. That was brilliant. Great work, Harry. I love it. Love that.
Yeah.
I also dropped a nice comment under the video that he mentioned us in and invited him on the show. He said he's really busy, but as soon as he has a little time, he definitely would like to come on sometime. So that would be awesome to have him on as well.
Josh, can you pull his shout out up, and I can fail because there's something I just want to jump back to in terms of the pendulum stuff, that some questions John had been asked and he was talking to me about in the week. So if you want to find that, because it's really, it's a wicked show as well, isn't it? As Josh, as Walt says, it's really slick. It looks really cool.
I'll fill back in on that Foucault thing as well, because I found the quote from, there's a guy called Richard G. Elmendorf, who spent 20 years researching the Foucault pendulum, and basically his sum up was: the Foucault pendulum is a piece of scientific apparatus specifically designed and built to deceive and mislead. It is literally a humbug, a sham, a fake, a fraud, an artifice, a pretense, a hoax, and I believe it should be exposed as such. So there you go. Over to you, Adam. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Couldn't say it better myself.
That was amazing, John. Good find. We got to link that.
Yeah, it's in the blog.
The bit I was going to allude to, John, was when you were talking about you'd had some tweets in the week about people asking you for a bit of advice to set one up in lieu of the eclipse.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was really just to give my arrogant advice on such a shonky experiment. The first thing I'd say is, unless you've got a huge missile silo or grain silo to set it up in,
or cathedral,
or a huge something like that protects it from the environment, there's no point. If you can't have the height, there's no point. A small one, any effect is negated by the loss of momentum in the string and the likes, and most importantly, and this is the question I always look at when you see these experiments, there's the mechanical ones that are just basically big clocks that you see in the museums. But any other one, what is actually at the top of the pendulum? What is the fixing? If it's a hook and eye, then
the Charon rings. They're called Charon rings, and that consists basically of a brass, like a bearing. If Sly's listening, he'll know what we're talking about. A brass bearing that the wire will hit.
That was a funny job.
In your own time. That the wire will hit before it reaches its full swing. But saying that, most of them are run with hidden motors, and this has even been admitted. I'll give you some quotes on motors here. Well, you sent me one, didn't you? Air-resistant damps the oscillation, so some Foucault pendulum in the museums incorporate an electromagnetic or other drive to keep the bob swinging. Others are restarted regularly. Here's one. It said, footnote, an article in the Physics Tech September 1981 described a short Foucault pendulum for corridor display in a school made the following remarkable statement. The complete pendulum unit can be seen inside the enclosure, but the wire suspension device and electromagnetic drive mechanism are intentionally hidden from the observer. I mean, this isn't bloody science.
That's theatre, mate. That's
there's
theatre.
another one. The results are still in considerable error, but are the best ever achieved. Muppert did a huge study on these things, basically trying to justify using motors in there, but they conducted extensive correspondence with the curators of all the known Foucault pendulums at the time, and many curators quite openly admitted to, quote, cheating by advancing or retarding the pendulum in the hours that the public had no access. I mean, yeah, this is top science.
And that's it. It's that magical kabuki theater where you just don't look at the man behind the curtain, just accept our science.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I just say, Adam, I know you probably have a full plate, but once you're done on the Moonlight World Tour, maybe you could build a pendulum for us and prove its merits.
Well, that's the point. Like the pivot point at the top of the pendulum is the only crucial factor, and it's the biggest variant in the whole experiment. So, as I was alluding to, if you've got a standard hook and eye, well, the shear forces applied on that hook and eye as the thing rotates underneath it are completely different all the way around. The obvious suggestion is a balled bearing or a giant ball set in a circular housing. Because for the majority of pendulums you see, you're looking at clock pendulums, which are simply along one axis. But this requires free 360 rotation for it to demonstrate what it's doing. And so the biggest actual exponent of any influence on the pendulum, irrespective of of the rotation of the Earth, even if the Earth did rotate, the biggest effect on that pendulum would be at the top joint, and the structure of that joint has to be completely friction free for it to have any hope of ever demonstrating that effect anyway. It's not like a gyroscope which sits there in free space. It's sat there hoping to pick up the rotation of the Earth being negated by the friction within whatever bearing is mounted at the top of the pendulum. So it's a nonsense experiment, even if the Earth was round and rotated.
I remember, John Savage, you and I once found a video of a guy who was claiming to make one, and he had papers all across his whole wall and everything. Remember, we looked at that once? Boy, what a crapshoot that guy was doing with pendulums.
No, that was gyroscope. When he had he had a laser pointer, and it was tracking across his. Yeah, that was an. I just don't know what to say to people like that think that that's proving anything at all. I mean, it's the logic is just loses me on that one.
Yeah, I got it confused, but it's just as bad. Go ahead, Walt.
Interestingly enough, yesterday at the meetup, I met a gentleman who is a fabricator, a machinist, and he said he is open to designing whatever to help forward the cause. He we talked about some of the balloon launch failures that have happened, and he was just talking about a design for a kit that would let the balloon actually be able to be deflated enough to lower instead of having the thing crash down. And just, he had some great ideas. So I have his information. I actually sent it there to our little room, and he's willing to, he could probably design a pendulum. I don't know, maybe a gyroscope. I don't know. I don't know what level of fine, tiny stuff he does. I don't know if it's big machining or tiny machining. I don't know, but he definitely can build some things. We could talk to him and find out. I also met another guy who's an AutoCAD person, and that's one good thing about these meetups: networking and meeting people who have the skills you lack that can help you with some of your thoughts and ideas.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's some interesting leads, isn't it? It'd be brilliant to get someone with the know-how to be able to build a really decent precision gyroscope.
Indeed. Well, I have his information. We definitely will get in touch with him.
But then again, any aviation grade gyroscope will be perfectly capable. I mean, my gyroscope is perfectly capable of registering the turn of the Earth. So we are, again, reinventing the wheel, even with the MEMS gyroscope. But, the more times we can do it, that's the whole point of all this. And the point of science is that it's repeatable.
Exactly.
Not like.
So I've got the Hori show pulled up. If you wanted to give that a listen, and his nice little shout out to us. It should be good.
Go for it.
Uploading a video of his talk with Iron Realm Media. This looks to be a pretty nice podcast for getting the truth out, and I want to read their channel pro.
Sorry, we missed the best part of that.
Attention, I don't know how I missed it. Check out the link down below. Next up, ODD films the Flat Earth party they attended with Flat Earth asshole on his trip around the U.S. It looks to be a pretty good gathering, and it really shows you that the Flat Earth is growing and the community is really coming together and starting to interact with one another. Check it out. The full 7.5-minute video link can be found down below. And thanks goes out to Paul on the plane for uploading a video of his talk with Iron Realm Media. This looks to be a pretty nice podcast for getting the truth out, and I want to read their channel promo text real quick, okay? They say, 2017 is the year of truth. We are awake. We are aware. We are not alone. We are striving for more information, more knowledge, more freedom, more iron. Iron Realm Media. Find more. Iron Realm Media is basically a diverse group from all walks of life that are here to help you question everything, so to speak. I'd like everyone to go ahead and show them some love. Check out their weekly show on Fridays. Their Flat Earth Friday Fringe Cast goes live at 10 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. Paul talked about his transatlantic flight that he had on his wonderful Flat Earth trip, and he said that he's got some interesting compass readings from it. So here's a clip from that show, and the link to it is going to be down below.
Yeah, I've got I believe screen sharing is on, so I don't know if there's
all right.
Wow.
So
awesome.
Nice. And all of our people listening right now, definitely give Harry some love. Go subscribe to the Harry Sheet Show, like, share, comment.
Yeah.
You know the drill.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it really was. Appreciate the shout out. We are the self-proclaimed best little podcast on Flat Earth that no one's ever heard of.
Still.
We've been doing this for over a year. I think we've got like the Flat Earth Friday sort of template down for the last 6 months. But I think we started our channel well over a year ago. So we've been creating content and making content for over a year, and we still just broke 600 subs. Just
22 watching there.
20, something like that.
What did you say earlier, Josh? Slow and steady wins the race. Very wise, my friend.
That's it. Just like the turtle.
Yeah. Really what I would not like to just blow up and end up with like 60,000 subs overnight. That would totally freak me out.
It's because we don't have punch-ups, so we don't call each other moron and idiots and then fight on.
You idiot! You moron! There we go.
Oh.
The rocket launch. James finally got his rocket up. He's going to see if it's a curve, if it has to.
He's
it's a dome.
Does a rocket work in a vacuum? Let's turn it on and find out.
That's brilliant.
James, weren't you going to talk about
When he can hear again, maybe.
He has a literal vacuum sucking up the carpet floor. He's got it muted. So
that? Oh, that was James. Oh, I thought that was Rob. I thought his next door neighbour was a leaf blower or something.
Nope, I'm pretty sure that's James and an actual vacuum.
These people live in noisy places.
We landed on the moon.
Unfortunately, Rob had to go. Rob's got sports today. His daughter's got hockey, so he had to go take his daughter in to play, so he had to leave. Hopefully, he'll be back with us after the show for the Fringe cast.
Good.
So, what else do we have? James. Well, James is a little occupied and not the best audio right now, so we won't get into his new videos just yet. We'll save that for the second half of the show because James put out a couple really good videos, as he does every week. So we wanted to touch on that and link people and point people in the right direction to the Full Armor OG and James's YouTube channel. So that'll be good once we do finally get to that point.
Maybe before the break, then I could just give a little shout out to a YouTuber I found in the week. Can I maybe share my screen, Josh? Is that?
It is absolutely possible.
It's possible, but
whether it's going to happen is a different question. You're right. Well, I'm just going to play here. Can you see it? It's just a little video.
Oh yes, very good.
And is it? Are we there?
Yep, I can see it.
Oh, hello. No.
I'm seeing it on Adam's screen, yeah.
There we go. Sorry, it was probably my OBS. Like it was getting a little choppy there. All right. You are sharing. You are presenting. I am presenting.
Excellent.
YouTube can see it.
I am live to the world. So yeah, this is just a gent called Plane Ranger who's.
Why don't you make that window full screen? Why don't you, if you can?
How do I do that? Wait there. I'm sure I can manage that. There you go.
Perfect.
That's in my remit. Okay, so yeah, a gent called Plane on YouTube. We see a lot of flat earthers out there, people trash talking and all that, but this is, to me, a real flat earther. He's someone he's putting himself on the line. Do you know what I mean? He's going out there and awesome. What is it? It's a spirit level, which is inviting people as they walk along the promenade to kind of compare the straight line in front of their eyes to the horizon and the water line.
Did you see the guy in London with the banner, the Flat Earth banner?
Right.
You see that? He had a live hangout, 2.5 hours at like 7:30 in the morning in London rush hour. He's got a bunch of pissheads behind him drinking, and he's got like hundreds of bikers, you know, and commuters, and everyone going past and thumbs up and same sort of thing.
Again,
absolutely brilliant.
It's the same thing. And this is what I'm saying. You know, there's lots of people, but this guy's got off his backside. He's not sat in front of a computer. He's built that, what you can see in front of us, and he's got off his backside and he's gone down there and taken his day away from himself to spread the word. And you can watch his videos, and he's there, and he's. I'll tell you what was nice about it, right? He engages with people. He's not just put that off and run off. He's not forcing himself on people, and you can listen to the vids, and he's politely
he's got a small camera on it, hasn't he?
Yeah. And there's a lot of people and this is the brilliant thing about it, I think. It's not just like you say, this bloke in London that's rocking up, look at me. It's there, and you can either be passive or engage with him with it. You can walk back. I think there's leaflets there you can take, and
same with the guy in London, though, Adam. Same with the guy. Yeah. I mean, he's just standing there with a banner. And, you know, anyone who wants to walk up, talk to him or abuse him or whatever, you know, and he's doing it, live streaming it while he's doing it. It was very impressed. I'll try and get his Twitter handle later.
But I don't know about the rest of the UK, though, but he does appear to have definitely proved that Scotland's flat by the looks of that. But yeah, I just thought a wicked shout out because, you know, fair play to you. I think the gent's name's Scott. Scott, top work fella, absolute top work fella. I think that's really outstanding and something that people can replicate. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with robbing that idea and seeing these things ping up all around coastlines. I mean, it's a really good proof for people.
It's never going to prove anything, but it is hopefully going to get people to think and go home and just type in, you know, is the Earth flat or whatever, and see what comes up. But it's great little things like this. I think are awesome. Got bigger kahunas than I have, that's for sure.
Does take guts.
It does. I'd end up in a fight. I could just see it. I'd be arrested, banged up.
If you listen to his videos, I tell you what, there's a tips for us all there. If you listen to him engaging with people, because there's a lot of people with very, very different opinions to ours that are engaging with him, and he sits and he politely listens to their opinion and doesn't attempt to try and destroy it and call them, you know what I mean, and just tries to make another point for them to observe themselves. And that's the important thing about that. It's not about downloading all the knowledge he has. He's just asking them to just have a look for yourself. I know that it's not scientific measurements, but it's something you can observe for yourself. And I think it's a great first point of engagement. You know, you're chilled, you're relaxed. It's a lovely day. You're having a walk. Do you know what I mean? And that comes. I look at all sorts of crap when I'm on holiday. The rubbish museums. I went into a teddy bear museum once and forced myself to spend half an hour because I'd spent £2.50 to get in. So I thought, I'm looking at these teddy bears no matter what. Do you know, and something like that. Even if they walk away going rubbish, it's in the head, isn't it? It's in the head.
Yep, more of that, please.
Right. So while we wait for Stan and Cosmic Surfer to come on, we had another guest planned for today. James is still with us, I hear. Damn, that sucks. Anyway, well, you want to tell us a little bit about our guest that I see has now joined us? Because you are the one who had originally seen her out there in the muck and the mire on Twitter, battling the ballers and the Twitter baits, as you like
My
to call.
goodness, yes, those pairheads like to spin. As always, I'm always just hanging out, reading things, and when I see something, I agree with it, or I'll retweet it, and then suddenly I'm in the middle of this huge debate with a bunch of people who are just convinced because what they learn from a book or from an authority is true. We're all morons and have lost our minds. And as always, I'm very, calm. I don't get all ad hominem-y, and I don't get, ugly. I try to be polite, because someone else is going to see that conversation and then they will actually go out and do the research. That's pretty much how I've grown my little bit of Twitter following there, with the people who are actually paying attention to these debates we have with these ballers who are just idiots with the repetitive parroting back of stuff they've learned with their little alphabet soup apparently behind some of their names, allegedly. So here comes Jane Doe 77, and anybody's got those sevens, I'm all about that. That's my favorite number. I don't want to get into gematria, people. I'm just saying I like that number. Okay, so she has been tenacious in her just hanging tight in her knowledge base. When I went to check out her profile, she seems to be just an average mom, wife. I just wanted to get to know who this person is that's been hanging tight with all these ballers and taking them down and not taking any of their crap. So it's good to have you on the show, Miss Jane Doe 77.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Yes. Wow. It was really nice of you to have me come on here because I'm very into it. I haven't been into it for as long as you guys probably have. Probably only like the last 3 months.
Awesome.
But I saw it and I got into kind of like conspiracy stuff like 5 years ago. So I kind of already had an open mind. And when I saw my first video, I didn't know it was a flat Earth video. And I saw it and I was like, holy heck, what is this? Like I really I just was like, I couldn't even speak.
I think we were all stunned when we saw our first Flat Earth video, either just in the incredulous state of like, is this real? Is there someone actually believing this in this day and age? Or just completely laughed it off? Or I think that's where we all started. Well, what was your hook? What got you like just like going, wait, what was the question, I guess, that sent you down this rabbit hole?
It's honestly, after I saw the video, I just went outside. And I mean, I kind of just looked at a few, like I obviously, like everyone else, I looked for pictures of Earth, real pictures of Earth, and I couldn't find anything. And, NASA has admitted to everything being CGI or composite, which is not real. That's not a real actual picture looking from above and looking down at Earth. It's not. So I just started to use my senses. Like that's all anyone really has to do. And it was just unbelievable. At one point, after maybe 2 weeks, that when it really settled, when it really like hit me, I just started crying. I was like, oh my God. Like I just felt it. It was real, Yeah,
we talk about that pit of your stomach, that falling away, just suddenly it dawns on you like, is this is real? And it's just like a whole eye opening. I'm like, I think all of us were all looking at some truths in the world, 9/11, false flags, Kennedy assassination, whatever your, thing was. But this one was kind of like just a 2x4 across the head.
Right?
Attention getter.
Same.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was like, of any conspiracy theory, this is the most blatant one. And it's the most crazy one,
Absolutely.
But to me, it's so blatant. And I say that at a risk, I guess, because people are like, how are you so stupid? Like people are so mucky on that thing. People are so mean. And like, it's hard not to be mean back. But at the same time, they're completely fooled. It's not their fault.
We all were. I mean, we all were.
Exactly.
It's not like we all woke up flat earthers when we were born. We were, but we just didn't know it.
Right.
And we all thought the same thing these guys think. It's not like we, failed or didn't pay attention in science. Some of us, I mean, this whole group of guys, we were all big into science or astronomy or something that had us already looking at the truths of our world. So,
right.
Well, it's great to hear. I mean, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, how did your family take it, or do they know?
Oh, yeah. Well, my husband is the one who showed me the video. He got me into conspiracies like 5 years ago when we met. I fought with him the whole way. We fought about things all the time. I was like, no, this is not true. This is not true. And he was like, it is. And it just takes time. And I think when you're with somebody who you really trust, it's a lot easier, because you can kind of be more open to the truth. These other people are just shut off. They're completely shut off, and the arguing is nothing. So my mom is one of them, and my sister is one of them. And my sister is a pharmacist.
Oh, and, we don't like pharmacists.
Yeah,
we have one on the panel, Molly, before we tell it.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we have our own pharmacist on the panel here.
Yeah.
But he's awake, wide awake.
Right.
Say hello, Adam.
Well, there's definitely a difference, You can be a pharmacist. It has a meaning, but it doesn't necessarily mean what it should mean anymore. Sure. But yeah, so she's a pharmacist, and both my mom and my sister are so stubborn, and we fight. Me and my sister don't even talk right now because of this whole thing. It's crazy.
It's quite common, I think.
No, a lot of respect, Molly. And James here, I have a quick question. Do you remember the video that he showed you? The first...
Whoops, we lost her. That's all right. She's probably
It's like
killed
we
jump
just
back.
dropped everything.
That's okay.
All right, Molly, if you can still hear us, this is a Friday occurrence getting dropped from the show or the call. So just pop back onto that same link in the room we sent it to you in, and we'll get you back in here in just a second.
Yeah, don't be embarrassed.
Friday. Yeah, no, it was nothing of yours. It was definitely. There we go.
There's excellent.
I'm sorry.
No, you didn't do a thing. It was Google.
It was? Okay. Oh my God. The phone was ringing in the background and I was like, oh.
We lost two of you, or maybe three all at the same time, but we're all back in. Yeah, that's regular Friday stuff. That's
okay.
Standard operating procedures for Friday.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead, James. What was your question?
Well, good on you, and I totally agree with the partner and the trust, because I also have an amazing partner, and bye guys.
Yeah, James's rocket ship there is just he doesn't have a control.
I saw the comment about the vacuum, so that was really funny.
Too good. You can't write this stuff.
Right?
I think what James was trying to ask you is, what was that first video that actually caught your attention? Do you remember who it was?
I do. It was, first of all, one of the first things I saw was that Don Pettit from NASA talking about, outer space and going to the moon and stuff. And I was just like, what an idiot. I'm like, is that guy one of the heads of NASA? Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Where he's like, I'd go in a nanosecond. And he sounds like a complete crazy person. And I don't.
One of James's favorite NASA people to do videos on.
Well, that was the guy, wasn't it, who claimed that we had the technology to go to the moon, but we don't have it anymore.
Man, we can't do that anymore.
We destroyed it. And it's a painful process to build back up.
To build it back up, yeah.
Unbelievable. That was like, okay. And like I said, I did not know he was showing me a flat earth video. He kind of just put it in front of me and I started watching it. And the first thing was, and I had heard about flat earth from other people, but like everybody else, when you kind of hear about it, you're like, I'll just put that off before I start watching that. But in the back of my head, I was like, you know what, it's going to be one of those things that I watch and I get it. But like I hesitated, definitely.
Is your other half on Twitter?
He is, yeah. He's
feel free to give him out if you want.
I will. He keeps getting kicked off, so he keeps getting suspended from Twitter because he just gets into it. But he's very passionate, so I'll put it on the Twitter. But he doesn't he's not huge on Twitter at all. He doesn't. He just But anyways, he showed me it because he had just watched it for the first time. It's not like he knew about it. Like we both watched it for the first time. And the second one I think it was one of the ones that says best flat earth documentary. And I think it's the
2017?
Was it voted that way?
No. It was just the title.
Oh.
That's how I remember it. It wasn't necessarily the best one, but it was titled that way, and that's why I remember it.
Chances are that was James's video.
I was going to say,
no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that
a lot of views. Yeah.
Wow, definitely a lot of views. I've watched so many since then. Like I've watched every single one. One of the really good ones that I liked was Dave Murphy, his whole interview. Dave
Malenko.
Murphy?
That massive
interview.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest TV stations in Eastern Europe.
Oh, really?
Malenko, yeah.
And he had it on there.
Yeah, very good.
Wow, very good.
And it was an amazing presentation he did on that show. Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good, and that's one of the actually it was a video. So I watched the whole interview, but then I also watched a video. Another one of those, and it had all the it was just ridiculous. It had all the movie scenes that were like flat earth, little tidbits, and was just crazy, and like all the music, and it's like, oh my God, this is real. This is crazy. This is crazy. I didn't know what to do. I told everybody, but everyone was like, "You're crazy." So I stopped telling people.
So, were you on Twitter before this, or did it inspire you to get on Twitter and shout about it? Or?
No, I've been on Twitter. I try to like post about everything and keep my Twitter the same, but I when I see something, I do post it because I just, I want to share it. But it's hard right now because people really are mean, and your own family can be so mean, it's crazy because they think in their own head that you're like, they need to help you, and I feel bad because we feel the exact same way.
That's right. They think you somehow born under a rock and you don't understand gravity. You don't understand angular momentum and conservation of momentum, and they try and give you some basic physics lesson that they're just cutting and pasting from Wikipedia, and it's like, dude, I was into all that shit beforehand. You know? I knew all of that stuff, and now I'm a flat earther. You knew all that stuff, you know all that stuff, but you still haven't looked into flat Earth. So, yeah,
they just have forgotten all of their basic senses. Their basic look at something. If you see something, the sun does not behave like that. The sun does not behave like that if it's 93 million miles away. It doesn't only illuminate one part of the earth, and it doesn't shine through the clouds like that. Like, it would be just one big ray of sun. It wouldn't be little rays, and it moves.
No, I agree. I think they've lost the plot. I mean, I had some guy who self-described science aficionado this week saying theory is the highest form of evidence we can have other than maths. And it's like, whatever happened to observation being the highest form of evidence we can have? I mean,
empirical evidence.
Empirical evidence picked up with your own senses that anyone can pick up, and but then they'll just come back saying, yeah, but your eyes will lie to you. What color is this dress I'm looking at? Is it blue or is it gold? It's like, your eyes can lie to you when they're being actively deceived, but without your senses, you would not have been able to get out of bed this morning. Full stop.
Right.
Anyway, I'll pipe down.
No, I'm listening. Are you James?
No, that's John.
No, John.
Which one is James? John, you sound familiar too. Do you make videos?
I have done a couple.
Oh, okay. You sound really familiar, and you sound like Noel Fielding.
I have no idea who that is. I'm writing it down now.
You don't? You've never seen The Mighty Boosh?
No.
All right, off topic. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. We covered everything in the realm.
Cool.
Now, Savage is our resident gyroscope expert. I mean, he's an expert on gyroscopes. That's his
master of none.
His wheelhouse.
I just tweeted about that because I got back into it. I have to end up muting these conversations, but I end up, getting into a new one. And I was talking about gyroscopes, and they're like, "Oh, just ask a pilot. A pilot goes over the curve." I'm like, no, they don't. And so about gyroscopes, aren't they only mechanical? Are they digital at all?
No, yeah, you can get digital. They're MEMS gyroscopes that are used these days, but. I mean, talking about asking a pilot, ask the 14 pilots that follow me that are all flat Earth.
Oh, yeah. And engineers and
surveyors, architects,
journalists.
What else?
Military men.
Gyroscope technicians. A US Navy gyroscope technician follows me and knows that we don't move an iota. But yeah, gyroscopes are a great one. What's your handle on Twitter, Molly?
Mine?
Yeah.
It's Molly. It's Am I Right Smith.
I thought it was Jane Doe 777.
The at. What's your at?
At Jane Doe. Hold on.
Sorry, caught you on the spot.
My name is Molly. Hold on.
It's at JAYNEDO.
I was trying to get it. Thank you.
777. It's
Right.
3 sevens as I work.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Just gonna make sure
I know.
I'm following
I
you.
don't have a lot of followers or anything, and I'm not like worried about that. But I do like appreciate you guys, and I do want to like, get the truth out. It's like I feel like in these days, it's just something's. Don't you feel like something's gonna happen? Something crazy.
For about the last decade, yeah. Or 2.
Well, I've only been into this stuff for 5 years, so you guys have probably been saying that for a while.
We follow each other. There you
Do
go.
we? There you go. See?
There you go.
Perfect.
Hi, Molly. This is Josh.
Hey, Josh.
So how does your husband feel about you coming on here talking flat Earth? Now that you guys kind of do it together, is he all right with you just kind of going out there and
Yeah, definitely.
yourselves out there?
Yeah,
Awesome.
he's totally fine with it. I'm like, I told him I was really nervous, and he's like, "Oh, you'll be able to talk forever." Yeah.
We'll tell him
he-
thanks for his role. I know he's
Yeah.
out there watching the little one, so we really appreciate that. So you could come on.
Yeah, and he's out there with like his sister and her husband came over with their little baby, so they're all hanging out. But yeah, it's nice that it's Friday.
We are quite lofty and intimidating, though, I find.
I know you are. Well, just because you guys have a lot more knowledge. I like I said, it resonated with me like nothing else, and I feel like it is a little risky to say that because like you do have to have all the info, and I mean it has been like 3 months now, and I have been into it like crazy. But ever since I first saw that video, I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't doubt it. I think I believed it right away. Is that bad?
It's not bad. I know lots of people. There are people in chat that said they were like 3 minutes into their first one, and it totally resonated with them, and that's all they needed. They got it right away. I was not one of those people. I had that big background. I was well into conspiracy. Studied almost everything when I saw this, and still it took me weeks and weeks before I finally was resigned to the fact that I'd become a flat earther against my better judgment. There I was.
Wow. And what was I mean, you've probably said this already, but what made you really, what changed your...
I guess it was as Bob from Globebusters put it was just the preponderance of evidence.
Yeah.
Because it was on the scales, that was the globe Earth that was at the heavy side, and the flat Earth was way up here. But as you start to use your senses and learn to think critically about the information that you've accepted as true your whole life, and you go back and look at it, you can start knocking stuff off that scale. And pretty soon the globe Earth starts to rise and the flat Earth comes down. And then you throw your senses in there. Now pretty soon the whole scale's weighted on the flat Earth side because you have that empirical evidence. And the questions and the just ridiculousness of the ball Earth model, then that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Can you help me convince my mom? Like, what do I do? Why are you different? Why are you different from other people? But why are you different from other people to where you had that background and you were very, I'm sure at first stubborn on, on your beliefs and eventually it like just hit you or, but why aren't other people like open to that? I've tried.
I'll take that for a bit, Josh. Sorry.
Would you please?
Well, I was just going to say that I think you hit the nail on the head, and someone else did as well. It's a lot to do with who you hear it from. If you're like, my mother or whatever, who thinks that I'm a complete cretin that doesn't know anything because she's seen me grow up and make 100 mistakes and all the rest of it, she's not going to take that with any sort of degree of credibility. Whereas other people who are hearing it, I mean, I think it all depends on who you're hearing it from. And even David Weiss was saying that he was deleting people's accounts, he was banning people from his Facebook, everything, anyone who mentioned it, and then a respected researcher that he respected said, you know, you really need to look into this. And it's then that you go, right, fine, I'll give it 1 hour or whatever, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
I don't think I don't think many people can wake their parents up unless their parents have huge amount of respect for your opinion. And from my experience, parents don't have much respect for their children's opinions.
That actually really makes sense though, but they were your parent, and they told you what was right your whole life. They told you didn't tell them what was right. So
yeah, it's
when
an
you
ego
tell them
thing.
Exactly. And it's never going to change, because she gets her news from all the mainstream, everything.
That was something I was going to say, Molly. It seems to be proportional to the amount of MSM that you take into your head. I mean, people who sit and watch news and TV and reality TV and just crap all day long, their mind is so just jumbled up with that.
It's mush.
They can't think logically anymore.
They're
thinking whatever the agenda is on the TV.
It's a veil. It's literally a veil that, like, there has to be some kind of shock involved or something, like, to get them to really see, or it's never going to happen.
Molly, are you a gardener by chance?
No.
Well, it's like planting seeds, right? You want to go out there and you want to plant those. But in my experience, it's really easy to overwater and over-fertilize those seeds. And a lot of flat earthers with those. Hey, James, they get those.
I have something really good. Remind me to say it.
Okay, you yelling at us, brother.
Let's go anyway.
Can I add something there to Molly? Because I'm a pharmacist, Molly. And the problems you're having, when I bother to mention it to people, flat Earth, and outside of, but in practice, in open conversation with people, I'll mention it, and I get a very different reaction, because these are people that trust me. Do you know what I mean? And have done for a number of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I then broach it, it's and I'm very careful in not doing system overload, but just to leave them with the fact that I'm a clear statement that I think the Earth is flat. And maybe just let that sit with them for a while, because we have so much we want to share that we've learned, and that sometimes is the thing that makes us sound completely bonkers.
Yep.
Yeah. Or like a Hoover, one or the other.
That's okay. Stay on.
But I'd love to get in touch with your sister. I'd have some fun with her in terms of her current practice, and
that would actually be awesome. And she's on Facebook, so if you DM me, I'll give you her Facebook, and you can harass her.
Yeah, we followed each other for a while.
She posted a meme today about flat Earth, like a meme, like, and I was just like, geez, like, come on, like, she doesn't even want to bother. She's one of those people that I've gotten into her with the health, I won't get into it, but the health industry stuff. Well, I've gotten into it with her about, pharmaceuticals, just,
So how does she sit with vaccines?
She has been trying to get me to vaccinate my kid for a long time. God, no, I'm not. I know everything about it. And I've gone back and forth with her. I'm like, and she's so brainwashed. It breaks my heart, because she doesn't understand what she's doing. She just doesn't understand. And she thinks she's helping people. And it's heartbreaking, because it's her career, and I want her to understand the truth. But at the same time, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to be like? Your job is all like, your career is making people worse off. Can't do that.
Okay, I got a break. Hold on. I just want to say this. Molly, I'm finally seeing results from the people around me after 2-3 years of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing you can do is just say nothing and just just stand firm. You're going to get more confident, more and more confident. And I actually said to my dad, I said it to him last night, and I seen it finally in his eyes. I said, I don't need to prove this to anybody anymore. So I'm really not going to talk about it. If you want to talk about it, watch the video with me. If you don't, I love you. It's not going to change things, Dad. And that's when the light went on. So,
you're totally right. When you silence yourself, they become more curious.
And what Adam said is right. Like I'm the first to admit it. I'm a motor mouth when I get excited. We get wired on Fridays, and all I want to do is grab everyone and be like, "Did you know the Earth is flat? And this is why, and this is why, and this is look at this, and we got to collar ourselves, and it pushed my family away so much at first, and just by them watching their son, and John Savage alluded it, but just from them seeing that I've stuck with the show. These guys are a huge part of my life. We are committed to the movement. We've been doing this. I've been putting in the hours, and I'm still talking and confident about Flat Earth. That's the best thing I've ever done. So I'm glad before I go back into space, I thought I'd share that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, well said, James.
Oh, I'll add one thing, Molly. Sorry. The universe is a funny place, isn't it? And you're 3 months into this, but you're one of, outside of the guys here, you're one of the few people I shared any of my Moonlight results with outside of the group. So, you know, it's a funny world is all I'm saying. It's odd. I've just looked back and seen how we've met in the past. And for some reason I've not shared that with anybody else. Yeah, outside the guys.
Yeah,
for some reason I felt the need to send it to you tonight, and then we meet, and I don't draw any inference. I just think
you can just tell. You can tell how passionate I am.
Yeah, you rock. You, as you said to me, you rock, and you did. That's why I engaged with you, because I saw passion and the way you were kicking ass for Walt.
Yeah, man, that went on for so long. That thread, I just
it's
was
still
like, "This is
going on.
Is
this
it
is the
still?"
ridiculous
I think
part.
I'm gonna
really
unmute it. I'm gonna unmute it and come get your back, Walt.
Oh, I'm good. I mean, it's just really all I did that for is like that planting seeds thing. Because for all those people that are just stubborn, there's 16 that followed me this week that will be looking at what's going on and questioning and digging deeper. So
yeah, see, I haven't had that yet. I haven't had anybody be like, well, I have. Okay, I know a very prominent person on social media, and I texted him. We went to high school together, and now he was like a famous Viner. And he's like on YouTube, and I will message. I mean, I don't know if I should say it here, but I texted him about it, and he was like open to it, surprisingly. And I was like, and I sent him videos, and he was like, I think I'm like on board with this. Like, he actually believes it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anybody so open-minded so quickly. You know.
No. I don't want to pressure you, but I think he would get a lot of support if you threw his name out there and the community just went and showed him a bunch of love. I think that's what would happen.
No, yeah, but I don't know if I don't know if I should. Maybe next week.
You obviously need to run it by him first, but yeah, I mean, this is going to be firsthand experience, right, for us and for everybody. So I would suggest asking him. That'd be great.
Yeah, no, I will. But I mean, he's the thing is he wants to be in Hollywood, and it could destroy his career if he, you know what I mean? So I don't want to even get involved in that, but I'll share with you guys later. But yeah, it's I actually he called me, and he had another, like, a comedian on the phone, and we were just talking about all these conspiracy theories. It was crazy. It was crazy that, you know, awesome. Celebrities really do believe this stuff, and they're not allowed to talk about it.
Kyrie Irving, Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
Who were the other big ones?
B.O.B. But B.O.B. But do you guys follow the Flat Earth Society? Because I don't necessarily buy that. I don't buy that the Earth is flying upward.
Group. No, that's what they're.
Yeah,
I think they're controlled. They're controlled opposition.
That's what they were designed for.
I feel like B.O.B. is kind of that, you know. I feel like he's pushing people toward the Flat Earth Society, and so is Obama, or was Obama. You know, trying to get people.
don't worry. All these people, it's a bit like Alex Jones, isn't it? Once you've got a level of discernment, you can move past them if you've got an issue or what. Do you know what I mean? I don't invest any time worrying about them, but yeah, I tend to move on to different people, but I don't.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't follow what he says, but you can just tell who's who and who's really believing it and who's really because
what I mean is they're useful at different stages of your own development. Like Alex Jones was great for me 5 years ago, 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
B.O.B. was great, lovely. It's real. But as you develop, you realize. I just let those guys just be. You know what I mean? But I don't necessarily follow B.O.B. or any of that stuff particularly anymore. I might have a passing interest.
Right. Well, they're for the people who don't know yet, and they just kind of bring them down the wrong path, and then they just forget about it because it's just ridiculous, for the Earth to be accelerating upward. That's just as ridiculous as the spinning ball.
So knowing that you're definitely flat, Molly, have you looked at any of the other models, like the box model, the Pac-Man model, the Mark Sargent video game?
No.
You're straight flat, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know about a dome because I know that's mostly biblical. But I've seen the videos of the rockets going up and hitting something, and you don't know. I mean, I haven't researched behind what that really was, or if that was real or fake or what. I don't know. But so I just believe that we're not a spinning ball. And there's no curve that I can see ever anywhere. Nobody can. So I just think we're a plane, a stationary plane.
Nice.
That is so smart, girl.
That's pretty much where I am as well.
Mr. Savage.
I think that's all of us. Yeah, a plane. Now what's above and below and all that theories abound, and we've had some semi confirmation from someone who alleges that he's been there.
Right.
On some of these energies or layers, if you will. So, but as far as a big glass bowl over the top of us, I've always thought that was not accurate.
It's right. And it's, like I said, it's biblical. And if anything, the flat earth has kind of made me think about more, because I've always been an atheist. I've always been science. There's no way there can be a God if we're so insignificant, and if anything, it's kind of made me, wonder about a divine creator, but I don't know.
But that's it. That's a big to go from atheist to agnostic is huge. To be able to say there's no way there's a God, there's no way there's a creator, to, well, maybe. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a giant step.
We hit the sensitive button again.
Yes, we have. We've lost her and you got back in. Good, but yeah.
No J's or P's this time either.
Yeah, it does seem to be a...
Hey, I lost you guys.
That's fine. It happened.
Okay. What were you saying? I missed it.
Shit, I forgot. What was I saying?
It's a really huge step, though, Molly, to go from an atheist to potential. And actually, I will big up our own very awesome IRM guy, Rob, who kind of, I think, came from the same position and is now at the point where he feels, it's not spinning, it's not on a ball, and perhaps there's a creator, or there would be, but he's not ready to delve there. But what a step, man. I mean, just to hear you say that you came from such a strict science background,
right?
And you're here. What Josh was trying to say, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons that made me that I cried that day, that I just kind of broke down, because it was like Truman. It was like the Truman Show. When he just realizes that everything he's ever believed has been a lie,
yep.
and that we actually are here for a reason. That is the coolest thing ever.
Yes, it is.
And that's what they're trying to hide from us.
And that is what the big show is about.
And it's
Would you be able to stick with us through a little break?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm in desperate need of coffee. We've been going for about an hour and a half, so I figure out give me a chance to run upstairs and grab a coffee and let it everybody else do whatever they
I'm
needed
gonna,
to do.
I'm gonna do the same.
Absolutely.
All right.
Molly, can I ask, are you going to sing Gravity like we're going to?
Please,
Oh,
please,
yes.
play it, Josh.
What?
Please. I was going to
Our theme
Jones
song.
for it.
I'm
Yeah,
into it.
I'll play it first. You crank it up. Everybody's bound to love this song.
See you
Go
after the break, guys.
Yeah, we'll take a quick little break. We are here with at Jane Doe 777 on Twitter discussing her Flat Earth Awakening. We'll be right back just shortly. And of course, now but it was a very lovely song.
I didn't know what was going off at first, but I kind of got into it. I was kind of, I started tapping my foot, but what was that?
It was called Fat Bollard, the council badge flashing lunatic Jobsworth. Looks like just a few buskers out on the street. And I guess a council members come up trying to get him to move along or something. So they just decided to break out into song and tell the government to f off. So it was pretty
Nice.
Class.
So excellent. We are back. We are here joined with Molly, who is at Jane Doe 777 on Twitter, who has recently found the flat earth within the last few months. So because Iron Realm Media is what it is, we love to give voice to help people solidify the idea that the earth is flat in their mind by being able to talk about it and externalize it. So we invited her on to share her story. So yeah, it's been a great conversation so far.
Great. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. Did anybody have any questions for Molly specifically? Come up with anything on the break?
How did you like our song?
I loved it. I was actually like jamming out.
Yeah, we all do. I think we're all mute and start singing along. I know Adam rocks it hard.
Yeah.
Me
I
too.
mean, I started talking and I forgot to mute. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Right, you just fit right in. It
That's
just
what I'm
means
saying. You're one of the crew now for sure.
Yeah, this is really cool because you know, like you said before, it's like you want to talk about it all the time, but you can't. You literally just can't. And you're right. I mean, I think when you just plant a seed and you just say this is what you believe, you know, people just start to wonder, and then they look into it for themselves. That's the only way you can really, you know, I think someone can really figure it out for themselves is if they look into it with an open mind. Because if you're battling them, they don't care what the facts are. They just want to prove you wrong.
I think don't pretend you've figured it out because we haven't. Do you know what I mean? That's one of the biggest annoyances of the ballers in their arrogance. They pretend that the ball is a solid model, which outside of the flat earth argument, it isn't of itself anyway. Do you know what I mean? And I think one of the biggest things they try to use against us is, well, give us your model. And if your model, you can't describe and answer everything they've got, that somehow negates that there's no curvature. That's
very true.
And with that, I'd just say there's no wrong with saying, I don't know.
Well, I think Molly did. She said it was stationary, it's flat, and that's about as much as you can gather at this moment.
Yeah. And when people come at me about and they say, "Oh, this is debunking flat Earth," because like my aunt is really into conspiracies. She's my mom's sister, and she actually believes all the opposite things that my mom believes. She believes in all the conspiracies and all that, but she's having a hard time wrapping her head around the flat Earth, because the people that she watches the Corbett Report. And like she listens to him. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, I've
James
interviewed
Corbett.
him.
You have? He's awesome. He's really great. But he also has a globe right, in the beginning of his show. He kind of puts that globe right there. So you kind of wonder, and he's tweeted about it because I looked it up. And so I feel like because of that.
I didn't know that.
You didn't? Yeah.
He's tweeted against it?
He's tweeted that something about the curvature, that we can see the curvature because of something. I don't remember what it is, but you can look it up. If you Google James Corbett flat Earth, it'll come up on Google. But she's like on board with all the conspiracies. She's an open mind, but she's still on the fence, and it's due to Orion's belt. And she says. She sent me a video, and it's debunking the dome. I'm like, but I don't believe in the dome. So I don't know. I don't know about any dome. So you're not disprove. Yeah, exactly. They disprove something that is not even related.
Yeah. If you bear in mind that your mum has probably got an aversion to this because your aunt, her sister, is so pro conspiracy, that's got.
I was thinking the same thing.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And she hates that I agree with her. And not, and it makes her even more stubborn.
Molly, you portrayed there when you first come on, and hence why I was talking about that you were quite meek and mild and not and neutral. You sound completely kick-ass and more than able to take apart any opposition.
Yeah, well, because I've been like, honestly. And since I first watched that video, I don't think I haven't watched something on Flat Earth every single day. Every single day.
Well, that's what I mean. You certainly sound well versed already. You sound quite.
And it's funny. It's funny because I was terrible in school. I was terrible at regurgitating. But when I'm into it, when I'm really passionate about something, I absorb everything. And I watch, and I've seen things that are like, like Eric Dubay is starting to kind of put me off, because I mean he always has because he's arrogant, and I'm sorry if I don't know if anybody of you like him, but I think he's arrogant.
We were laughing at.
I think we all laughed at that.
Yes. Is she at the Coconuts video? You must be at the Coconuts video.
Eric Dubay woke me up on his Higher Side chat interview.
Same here. 100%.
I'd allude to the point I made previously, John, which is certain people are great on your journey, and there's a point where you say thanks very much.
That's where I was going with it as well, Adam. That's
take the best and you leave the rest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important not to hold people up on pedestals, in this, because we're all fallible. We were all fooled, so there's no question as to whether we could be fooled again if the hoax is strong enough. So it is literally a case of trusting your own senses and going out and testing it for yourself. Because once you test it for yourself, then you don't have to listen to anyone else. You just know.
Right. Well, exactly. And that's why, like, he helped me, but I didn't watch just his videos. I watched every single video I could. I watched a lot of the Flat Earth Live on my way to work and on my way home from work, like every day.
Wow, that's probably where your sort of fast track learning has come from.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But it's a natural curiosity as well. You have to possess a natural curiosity, because there are people out there who consider themselves intelligent, consider that they have an ology, they're doing this, that, and the other, but they will not go and test the moonlight temperature. They will not go and buy a gyroscope. They will not go down to the beach and see if they can see something they shouldn't be able to. They're just literally lazy in their own.
Right.
I don't know. I don't want to go any further, but self-absorbed ego of pseudo intelligence.
Right. And I feel like when I first what I was saying about Eric Dubay is that he really came out. He has so many good points. Like, he's totally right. But for some reason, I just have a feeling. I get this feeling that we are supposed to find out about this. Does anyone else feel that way?
Oh yeah.
You do. Good,
I've been saying that from the very beginning, that this was meant to come out.
Too.
Yeah,
I agree with you, John.
Even NASA's appalling fuckwittery at faking things it's just such a signpost for me that this is meant to come out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially with all the symbolism everywhere, with everything. It's like it's all coming to a point, I feel like.
Well, this is what they call the PSYOP. And this isn't what I think. The PSYOP is not Flat Earth. It's the release of Flat Earth and the timing of the release of Flat Earth. And where they're going to take it.
And what they're going to make it look like.
Exactly.
Alien invasion.
Oh yeah, that's what they're gonna do. Project Bluebeam. They're coming. Has anyone seen Childhood's End or watched the preview about that?
Yes, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that movie and the book, and I mean, that's pretty much in your face as it gets.
Right, and it was by the guy who the sci-fi guy who created satellites.
He invented satellites. Yes, ma'am. You do know your stuff. Mr. Clark.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know I knew this.
The man who said any technology advanced enough will appear to be magic to a lesser culture. Not in those words, but essentially that's what he said. So I'm sure that's going to be part of their whole Bluebeam trickery as well.
Are you talking Arthur C. Clarke?
Mr. Arthur C. Clarke. I mean, Sir Arthur C. Clarke. Yes.
Oh, you mean the suspected paedophile that had to move to Madagascar? Right, that one.
Who isn't a suspected pedophile?
Well, most people who don't have Sir at the start of their name, but yeah, we'll leave that for another time.
Yeah, you're right. No, I understand all that too. I get it. It's a whole crazy world. Hey, I mean, truth is really stranger than fiction, and it's almost really cool. You know, I mostly want people to realize that life isn't as boring as we all thought it was.
Right. My significant other, Michelle, was like, just every day she would see me on like watching the video about flat Earth or about the elite that control us or whatever. And she's like, why can't you watch something else? Why are you so enamored with this? And it's like, I've just found out that I am starring in the movie I've been watching my whole life and loving.
Yes.
It's like you can't get enough of it.
That's brilliant.
Same, and Tyler does that too. Tyler's my husband, and he does the same thing. Like he believes it and everything, but at the same time, he gets really annoyed sometimes because I'm so into it, and I get it, but I just can't help it.
But I think you're right. I think reality surpassed science fiction a long time ago now. There's just the reality is just absolutely bonkers.
The totality of the saturation level, the vast amount of trickery that we know of. Somebody I know today said, imagine looking at flat Earth like the bottom of an iceberg, right? And all the lies are the bottom, but what they give us is just the tip of the iceberg, which is just white snow and fun to look at. But it is so complete. We are so saturated in their matrix right now. This has to come out. This is part of the plan. It's time.
So, Molly, there's a comment on here from Dreamer9913 in the chat. In your research, as a borderline agnostic now, have you ever looked into the Book of Enoch in researching the flat Earth?
No, I haven't yet. I would be interested in that.
It's definitely definitely interesting.
Isn't that the one? Is that part? Give me a little background. Is that?
It's part of the Apocrypha. It's some of the books that were removed from the Bible because
I was wondering about that. Okay,
it's knowledge we did not need. Obviously, we didn't need to know this stuff. That's why they took it away and didn't want us to see it. But it talks about some of the interesting movement of the stars, how the stars were assigned positions, stars who don't stay in their positions are cast into this huge pit of fire. He's guided through all these places by these angels and shown portals that the sun goes through, which kind of leads people to that Pac-Man model. It's a heady book. It definitely it takes a few reads.
Well, I've seen a lot of handles like on Twitter and Instagram, people who are like Enoch and I've seen that a lot. So
that's Mr. Trey Smith, I believe, on Twitter.
Probably, yeah.
Trey, amazing work he does.
Awesome. Yeah.
I was going to raise that quote myself there, Josh. It's one that caught my eye, and I don't know if Dreamer 9913 has some comment to add, but it's obviously stuff that we've built on in previous weeks, and it's stuff that I've spoke to John Brahma about. In terms of Enoch's gates and portals, and transition. And it's something that I've got to be honest with you, I read and I struggle to comprehend it in the 3D world we live in terms of what's going off. It's something I've been watching this week. There's some guys heavily involved in the Torah that were describing it. I'll find the link, Josh, and post it, because they seem to have a strong concept. I've spent an hour and a half listening to them, but I don't get it. It seems just pure mathematics. And like I say, it seems to struggle, the Book of Enoch, I do, from the description to actually apply that in terms of real life, what that translates to the sun's movements.
Yeah, I agree, Adam. The Book of Enoch describes in such mad detail, the movements of the heavens, and then describes in mad detail stuff that we just don't see. The six gates and tabernacles and things like this. It's a mystery to me. But I'm
definitely open to that. Someone can send me that link. I would definitely be interested in is it a book I would have to buy, or I can get it on?
Yeah, PDF.
No, you can get numerous audio
great.
books of it. Well,
if you have an Android phone, there's actually on the Play Store a downloadable PDF file thing.
Oh, okay.
You can read it, and it'll keep your plays, bookmark it, that kind of thing.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yep.
Depends if you like reading or listening to books or
right, whichever you like to do. Right.
Yeah,
either.
My poison is to have someone read a book to me.
I like that too. I think it's
except the computer voice. I hate computer voice.
I can't do that.
I can't do that. I was going through
Anonymous?
the Gospel of the Holy 12, and it's computer voice, and I'd sooner read it than.
I'd sooner read everything, but it's time and effort that I just don't have. I've got about 7 books on the go at the moment, so it's nice to just be able to get 2.5 hours and bang, you've done the Book of Enoch, bang, you've done the Book of the Dead, bang, you've done this, that, and the other.
I get a lot more distracted when I'm reading, so it would probably be better for me to just listen to it.
Well, it is on. I will say there is an audiobook on YouTube somewhere.
Cool. That would be great.
Several.
I was getting really into do you know who Lloyd Pye is?
Oh yeah, big fan of Lloyd Pye.
So
you might want to ask Walt that. I think he knew him personally.
No way.
Way.
I'm here muted and laughing. Yeah, I was lucky enough I'm from South Louisiana, and he taught there at the local college. And so back in the late 90s, my sister-in-law, if you will, and I and her husband and some friends were all doing a local cable access show called Reality Check. And he came on with his book, Everything You Know Is Wrong, and talked about, the whole Anunnaki and the Sasquatch,
Amazing.
that stuff. And then at a UFO conference about 6 months later, he was a surprise guest, and he saw me and recognized me, called me over and opened a case. And that was the first reveal of the Star Child skull that he had just acquired.
Yeah,
and
that's the one I saw you.
And he actually brought the skull, and I got to handle it at length. I had actually been a biology student during college, so I was really to be able to see all the different weird anomalies, the tiny neck, the eye sockets with the holes that go down instead of back, the nerves would go differently, the 3 different lobes inside the head. I mean, it was just amazing stuff.
So what do you think
I've actually got a video somewhere I'm trying to get loaded up on the channel at some point. It was not human. I mean, the vibe, just when you touched it, you knew that it was not human. I mean, now what it is, at this point, I've, between all this flat Earth stuff, my history with ufology, I've pretty much become convinced that these things that aren't human, that are amongst us, that were, told about throughout all the historical books and records and biblical accounts, are from outside this area. That whole idea, Dave Weiss and Sherry, what's her last name? Somebody help me here. I'm so terrible with names. Anyway, their theory about the sun migrating out in these rings, and these outer rings are more advanced civilizations. That kind of ties in with Atlantis and Lemuria and Mu and all these ancient civilizations that disappeared. So if they came back with all this advanced knowledge, of course they could pose as gods, pose as whatever, interbreed with humans and create these hybrid beings, because it definitely was not a human skull.
Right. Well, we just don't know. I mean, we don't know what is beyond Antarctica. So who knows what is beyond that? It could be a whole nother population or civilization of things that are different than us.
Could be Dab Mountain over there.
Yeah, I love Dab Mountain. Gosh bless you, Adam.
Just to come back, Walt, you do my head in, right? I listen to lots of theories, and whilst you allude to other people's, you're one of the most, in terms of alternative theories, extra non-terrestrials. Yeah, as you're one of the most informed people I know, mate, and I would heed to your opinion on stuff way above some of the partial theories that I read out there, mate.
Well, I appreciate that. It's been something, literally since I was a child, I've studied that aspect of this world, because I know from a young age that there are definitely others here amongst us, and they do interact with us on a regular basis, a lot more than most people would admit.
You know where I stand on that. I know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel they're fallen, the entities. They're the fallen, or the children of the fallen. But that's just me. Don't take my word. Do your own research. Do your own thinking. We got 6 heads here, and that's why it works. So anyway, Carry on.
I will literally research anything. So I've gone through all the rabbit holes you've been through as well, Walt. And it's just. I find it all fascinating. There's nothing I won't research now unless it's
knowledge is knowing how little you know.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
Socrates.
I love it.
And as Josh, our great host, says, truth fears no investigation. So I also will look at anything once, just from a zetetic, open-minded principle.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate you, Holly. It was such an awesome chance to get to talk to you.
That was great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah,
anytime,
thanks, Molly.
Really.
I hope I can come on again. I really enjoyed this. And I feel like I didn't even get like most of what I wanted to say out. Is that crazy?
Well, you're welcome again anytime.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean that in a bad way. I just have so much to say, and it's really cool.
It's
cool
always
to be able to talk.
Then you can get out in one show. Trust me. That's why we sit here 3 hours and just go on and on and on.
Yes,
right.
Definitely.
It's against my better judgment to try to end this now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm willing to just let you talk for as long as you want to go.
And you're certainly welcome if you have the time to hang out while we invite Stan in here in just a moment. Certainly, you don't have to leave unless you have other obligations.
I do. I do.
Et cetera. And thank him and them for letting you spend this time with us as well.
No, definitely. And I'll have a little more time probably if I'm on again, if I'm lucky to be on again. But I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you so much.
Wait a second. Molly.
Yes.
Did you say your husband's name was Tyler or Tyrone?
Tyler.
All right. I was just thinking of an old friend we missed.
No doubt.
A guy named JT. I just thought that couldn't be.
But then that'd be a small world.
Yeah, that would be very small.
Way too small.
And Molly, if you get a chance to hop on live chat here on YouTube, I know that the people in the chat room would love to have you come on and say hi. You've just been requested. So if you ever get a chance.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
How do I do that?
If you just go to YouTube and hop on our channel and check the live
I'm
stream.
so bad at this.
No, just live chat at the bottom of the page there.
All right, cool.
Before you go, Molly, it's been a real pleasure, mate. I look forward to speaking to you again, and God bless. Take care, yeah?
Thank you so much. Nice meeting you all.
Thanks, you too.
Take care. Bye.
Right, have a good.
See you later, Molly.
That was great.
That was my baby.
That was beautiful. That was a perfect ending. Thanks again.
Awesome.
So we got Stan coming on?
We do have Stan
We
coming
do
on.
have Stan up next. And I hope
Good stuff.
that some people out there see, just from Molly being so down to earth and real, that, you know, there are real people out here that are looking into this that aren't like, you know, lunatics, morons, imbeciles.
Male.
And yeah, female out there. I know that it does seem to be a lacking area of flat Earth being covered by the better half.
Walter, before we start with Stan, I just have one quick question. Do you
Surely.
still talk to that fellow?
He passed mysteriously.
I'm sorry, I did not know that.
No, that's fine, man. A lot of people don't know. He passed mysteriously. He wrote a book on the genetic tracings and genetic things they had done with the skull. They were able to figure out that all the markers for the mother came back human and all the markers for the father came back unknown. And then not long after that book was published, he died. And he wasn't an unhealthy person. He didn't, you know, it was a very unexpected death, as seems to be the case so often with people who have come into important knowledge.
You're talking about Lloyd
Pye. Yes, sir. And I've actually found the DVD, and I'm trying to pull up just a little teaser. It's just really horribly reproduced from a VHS tape. And
well,
yeah.
Can I ask that? You said something there that he proved that the father's DNA wasn't known.
Exactly.
So that sounds like an exact fit with Enki breeding with. Is it Enki? Yeah. So I'm just wanted to highlight that.
Well, that's kind of where he came from. I mean, that's where his research came, is the whole, you know, Zachariah Sitchin, Anunnaki, that whole thing, and that, you know, without some type of interference, evolutionarily, we would be no further than Sasquatch. Which, you know, and if you've done any real Sasquatch research, these are quite intelligent beings. They have families, they have mates and children and areas that they stay in like home, so they're not wild beasts in any manner. But then you got to go with that whole evolution thing, and we know where we all, or some of us, have gotten with that idea here with flat Earth research. So, you know, it's to me more of that just inbreeding with other beings. I don't.
So there's a big point, mate. Right, that you raised there. You say. Right, so read the when you read the Anunnaki tales, the thing that's appealing to them isn't the lovely big breasts of the humans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the pictures of Sasquatch I've seen, I've got a significant amount of less hair on my chest than I would suggest even the prettiest of female Sasquatches.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where I start to struggle, where we look at that genetic line as the possibility of the interbreeding. I think that's too big a jump.
I do too. At this point, pretty much
you're my hero, Adam. Well said, brother.
Thanks.
You're my hero too, Adam.
You geek.
You guys are all my heroes. This is why I
like you guys.
So I can ride your coat.
Started the show.
All right. I think we have a guest here. Moving on. Is Stan in here with us? It looks like yes, he is.
Yeah,
Stan,
man.
Welcome to the Madhouse with all the lunatics running it here.
How you doing?
We're glad to have you, man. You've done some amazing videos and some amazing work with that 360 camera, and we are so clueless. We want you to explain more about it, what you've done, what it's showing, what it actually means as far as data. I mean, it's a lot to wrap our heads around, for me anyway, and I'm a very struggling photographer at this point, learning a lot about it, but that's just way past my abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to put the glasses on to see what we're seeing.
Hey, Stan, how you doing?
You all right, man?
Good. Do we have a question? There was a question in there somewhere, Walt. I'm sure of it.
Well, yeah, just to explain to people, I guess, what the 360 camera is. essentially how it is producing what we're seeing, what it's showing. Just kind of fill us in as if we don't have a clue, because pretty much
It just
until someone
shows
gets those
you.
glasses on, they don't.
It shows you as it is. There's no. It's just as it is. It's how your sky is. It's the best way of capturing your sky because you cap.
So this is my first question.
900 when you're doing a star trails or you're filming the moon, you're just getting a portion of it. You haven't watched the moon until you've watched it with a 360 camera. You can't sit there on the roof of your house when the moon comes up and note where it's coming up each day and keep track of it,
Right. I think that's where some of the confusion, when people look at the video and they just see all these dots in the sky and they're like, what in the hell? I mean, that kind of data is, most people are like just clueless. I mean, some of us who've tracked the moon and the sun know kind of what you're trying to show there, but just like layman and just completely no clue. How do you create these awesome videos?
I've just got a 360 camera and it's set on time lapse, and all it does is it takes a picture every 5 seconds. All day, all night. I'll just leave it running for 10 days at a time, 14 days, until I've got a 32 gig card in it, and then when it's full, I'll go and empty it and upload it to YouTube. And it's hours of uploading, but you need,
So Stan, what that's giving us, you're saying it's taking that many photos. It does a number of things, I suppose, from what I've seen on the vids, is you can interact a little bit, but outside of that, what you're actually storing is photos of the position of the moon every 5 seconds, and that's and the amount of data you've got now is immense in terms of length of time you've been storing this. Yeah,
I've got over 2.5 gig now of data. No, not gig, terabyte. Sorry.
Oh, jeez. That's a lot of info. That's a lot.
Yeah. So I've been watching the moon for a while.
So irrespective of whatever we can draw, what inferences we can draw out of what we're seeing right now, the data that you've got stored is probably one of the most immense databases of moon activity. I saw a great boast by a university about, when I was looking into NLM data, right, about this man sat on top of a hill in Greece for a year and took a picture of the sun once every day for a year, and they're boasting about it, this university, the level of data they've gathered there. But what you're suggesting is something
monumental. Blown that out of the water, because we've done it from Estonia and from South Africa as well. So I think we're the only people to have the 14-day cycle from the three.
Sorry, so you've got this same data from 3 positions around and quite big differences around the world. So Estonia, where else was it, pal?
South Africa, Cape Town.
Nice.
Nice southern.
We need someone in Australia or New Zealand, and we need South America, and also now we've got a 24-hour sun in the north.
What about Canada?
And also a 24-hour sun in the south.
Yeah. Whoa. 24-hour sun or 24-hour daylight? What you got?
It appears to be legit sun, but it's behind cloud for a few seconds. But it's from it looks genuine.
Cool. This is great stuff, man, isn't it?
So who took that, Stan?
I'm unsure without going back and looking, but it's on. We've got the videos downloaded, and yeah.
Could you forward us a link to them so we can check that out?
Yeah, you need to put your goggles on. You need the headset.
Right.
If you put these headsets on, it makes these 360 cameras a whole different game.
I don't even have a smartphone, let alone.
Is there software that programs?
So
once you have the headset, it's kind of like it does it for you, I guess, if you will. So
yeah, I've got a Samsung S7, and then I've got the cheap set of glasses, like that, work with the phone.
My stepson made some literally made them out of duct tape and a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, you can do that.
You can do it, yeah.
Yeah.
So Stan, when you say 360, when you say 24-hour sun, do you see the sun going around the camera 360 degrees? Now,
the shadow.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's all looking legit.
Because that would literally be the first example that has been released on the net that hasn't been either cut or doctored in some way, layered. You understand this hasn't been seen before. As we've got hundreds of examples of it in the north, we haven't seen this in the south. So I'd be interested to get hold of that footage definitely and have a look.
Can you share a bit of it, Stan? Or?
I haven't got the link right now, but obviously next time I will.
Yeah, get it sorted, because that's messing with people's heads, dude.
Do you
no, but it's there, mate. Honestly, it's there.
Yeah, I'm not disputing. I'm saying it's that's quite profound what you're saying.
There should be a 24-hour moon as well.
And does that go 360 as well?
Yeah, you should be able to see. In the north, in the winter, you should be able to see a 24-hour moon.
Yeah, but in the south, have you got the same?
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
Or
you
do?
should.
Sorry.
What does that mean?
No, well, you
got footage
from our
of it.
data collecting, it's there, it's there.
Cool. Well,
it's just we haven't got the
actual
data. No, we haven't got the data. That's what we're saying. We need the 24-hour moon.
But you do have the data for the 24-hour sun in the south.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cool.
So that's what we're saying. Now we know that is possible. Then there you go. Z's posted a link in the chat.
I got
the 24-hour sun.
And I will actually share a screen for you guys so you can see it.
Hey, Stan, I got a quick question. Did you know that you are possibly the first people in the world to get this, like John said? That's crazy.
Well, it's not. We haven't filmed it, but we've just found it and come across it.
Do we know any coordinates for this filming? No.
We're trying to work it out.
Latitudes and...
Okay, so it's a 360 film it's a 360 film that you come across from someone saying they're in the South or the South Pole or Antarctica or whatever, and they're showing it, but it's not one of your group as yet, no.
No, but this actual video, we can't put our lines in because it's just too much glare and it's too cloudy, So we're having trouble analysing it. That's why we want a moon, because a moon shot is so much simpler.
Can I just Stan? I'm feeling something. I'm feeling like we're grilling you here, guy, and just where we were going to.
I get grilled all the time, mate.
It's not that, bro.
But it just
we were going to chat about 360 cameras, yeah.
Make you uncomfortable for sure.
And then you've just gone and set the world alight, haven't you, with what you've just announced? So excuse the enthusiasm for what you just announced, mate. Hence,
majorly excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, man. Sorry if we came off that way, but it's not actually until we get the first hand. So it's a good possibility, though.
I have a habit of making people feel like they're being cross-contaminated as well. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. It's just interesting. Words are very important, and definitions, and is it 24-hour daylight,
I
sunlight?
never filmed it, but it looks real. It's real.
Okay, that's cool.
It's as real as I'd film with just sticking a camera outside,
So I've got that video, the Anthony Powell Antarctica 24-hour sunlight time-lapse VR video pulled up. So if you guys want to check your screens, give it a watch.
So you have to click on the screen and spin it.
And full screen too, Josh, if you don't mind.
See? See what I mean? There's too much glare as the sun comes up.
Yeah, similar to the other videos as well.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like Antarctica to me. It looks Antarctica to me, at least.
So that's the same camera as I use. That's a Samsung one, I believe.
What's the account, Josh?
I think maybe it's a little too high def. It's
Yeah, this is going to murder your system big time, or at least the broadcast. But do you know what the do you know what the account name is? The YouTube account.
I just had it pulled up. Give me a sec.
Look at that. Where's that sun going at the end there? That's gone off. That's not gone on a circular path.
I'd have to look at it closer. I can't tell.
You need the goggles to watch it, guys. You need to download it off of YouTube.
But even with goggles, that's flare, isn't it? That you can't even see the sun.
You get a lot of glare though with these. Yeah. That's why we want the moon, because then you'll see it.
Yes, yeah,
because it's dark. See, but that looks good. It's real.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, does that path look that it's going there look sufficient to get around?
If you look down at the camera stand, you'll see the shadow goes round the stand.
Look at that light up. Yeah. That's a good. Thanks. You filled next week for me, Stan. Now.
Seriously, you all need to go and get these goggles, man.
Yeah.
I did make a little video and about putting the goggles on.
Now they can use cardboard, can't they? They don't have to get like the big VR goggles or anything like that. YouTube makes like the cardboard fold together.
Them, but obviously they're not. You want the Samsung ones, That's what we use. Like we use is so then you'll have the same experience as us. I can't offer you advice on any other ones because I don't know.
Look at that sun setting there. That's setting in the distance. That's Stan. Just one thing. In your experience, the video we're watching, is it genuine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I'll send you. I'll post a link. This is. I made this so everyone's got a bloody. Can't even find it. Changed all my YouTube again.
Guys, are you seeing this? Are you seeing that sunset there? Just do it. Keep doing it, man. Watch the sunset.
It's coming over and then kind of shoots off out towards the horizon. Seems like.
That's what I mean. They're not directly under the celestial point there.
So, Stan, just this is a 3D camera, but what I'm watching now is the same as any standard camera just without moving it. There's no distortion or change. It's just keeping that one view for me. Yeah, what I'm seeing there now.
You do when you're seeing it on the screen. There is a tiny. You do get the odd little distortion, but in the goggles you don't get any. It's like you're just sat. You are the camera. You know, you're just sat. When I watch my ones back, I'm just sat on my roof.
Look at
that. No different than being sat up on my roof. But obviously, I'm sat indoors, nice and dry. And
I mean, presumably, as with a fixed camera, it can be photoshopped and faked and augmented reality and all the rest of it. The same could be done with a 360 camera. It's just 360 times harder.
More than that.
3,600 times.
You just forget it.
Well, forget it for you and I.
You could do it. You could do it for stills, obviously, but a video, I don't think. Like, it would have to be virtual. You couldn't. I don't see how you could fake it.
You can code any software. I hate to play that person, but I was in software, and I know John has some IT experience as well. And if it's a code, man, you can do, and you can write whatever you want with the code.
Oh yeah, like I say, you probably can do it.
We're not saying it is.
Phone, and B, you're running some software through the glasses, and exactly. All disclaimers, like, I'm not saying it at all. Please don't. I don't want to sound like a grumpy nag, but it is possible.
Yeah, I mean, literally anything's
possible, man.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be a case of, Stan and Cosmic Surfer are doing this. It'd be a case of DARPA doing it or NASA or
Heck
something.
no, absolutely. Oh, totally, man.
All these quantum computers or whatever they are. If it was to be faked, there's nothing stopping it being faked if necessary. And this has got to be one of the biggest things that they would try and fake, which is why so many of us won't accept anything we see on video or pictures or whatever unless we've been there to see it ourselves. This is the quandary of flat Earth, really.
All I'm going to say is, though, is matching up with all the other data that we're collecting. So
Cool.
To me, it's real.
Cool. How do you mean it? It's matching up.
It's matching up with what we're doing. It's
I mean, clearly a 360 sun in the South Pole isn't going to match up with the current accepted sort of rough map of the flat Earth at the moment, is it?
Can I ask a more specific question there?
Go.
Right, Stan. When you're saying it's matching up, when you're talking about what are you saying is matching up specifically? The path of the sun as it goes through the sky, it appears to be very linear, because that end shot there did not appear to match in an opposite manner of some of the 24-hour Antarctic suns. It looked like a standard sunset, yet the rest of the sky stayed illuminated. And there's guys on the panel that will know what that means. I don't want to get into that yet, but was it? Are you saying the path of the sun was arced the same or less, or compared?
It's following the lines that we're seeing.
Yeah, lovely.
Hey guys, I have a small canine emergency I have to go tend to, and I have no idea how long this will take to go retrieve her.
Go get your dog, man. Let's go. We got it.
All right. So, love you guys, and hopefully I'll be back before too long.
All right, man. Stan, one question about this camera. Would there be a way to mount? I mean, I don't know how bulky, how big it is, but would it be possible to mount one with one of these balloon launches? Especially adding the fact that I now have access to a guy who is a machinist and said he can construct something for a balloon launch.
I put them under my drone, and I put it on my roof of my car.
So
it's smaller than the fist of your. If you clench your fist, it's smaller than your fist.
So that definitely would be doable. because that would be the shot. I mean, that would be the ultimate is the 360 balloon, you know?
Yeah, it's the only way forward. Like all these, you don't see enough. You can't, with them 360 cameras, you can pause it at any time and look anywhere at that time. Not where the camera was aiming, but anywhere, because it's aiming everywhere.
Is there any idea of the focal distance you get? I mean, like as far as how far it's able to, I don't know, resolve
as good as any
imagery,
camera.
Right. Well, this is beautiful footage for sure.
There are 4K footage
there you
you're
go.
getting
That's
with that camera. And then if you're on
you
the
can
stills, you can get 8K pictures.
Wow.
And I
Detail.
paid 150 quid for that camera.
What's that equal to here in America?
Hang on, let me go and get it quick, and then I'll show you.
Yeah, man, show it off for sure.
Yeah, do they have one for skins like me?
The no-name brand, the generic version.
Oh mate, yeah, my one that's on my roof was £60, which is nothing. So that's why I've got it up there, you know.
Well, it sounds like we need to start encouraging that throughout the whole flat Earth movement. Is instead of these, everybody's got a 900 now. Let's start getting the 360.
Yeah, forget your 900. Just 360 is the way ahead, man.
That being said,
you need it all.
Go ahead.
So, yeah.
Now, yesterday at the meetup here in Portland, D Marble brought his P900 to the meetup and was showing off its zoom. It was pretty insane. I had not seen him do it like live. Oh wow, yeah, man, that's cool. And so it just constantly spins and videos and.
Well, it's just, you know, it's got.
Wow.
That's it.
Not at all what I was picturing.
Right, you got crazy. 3 buttons. You got one down the bottom, turns it on. Then you got your mode, and then you got record.
Huh.
There's nothing to it, mate. And then you can connect your phone. If you've got a Samsung phone, you can connect that to this. See, that's why I've got a Samsung. That's why everything's Samsung, because then it just works. No matter where I've got that camera, if it's upside down like that, when I download off of the camera to the phone, it automatically adjusts it, does all, you know, it can be doing that, and it will sort it out.
Huh. Well, I have the S7 Edge myself, and then I got the VR glasses with it. But right now, I'm not with them. My brother has the Oculus, but we could not figure out a way to get YouTube into it yet. It's a new thing for him, so he's still learning.
Well, you can download off of YouTube to a chip, you know, an SD card.
Right.
Put that in your phone, and then you can view it from the gallery on your phone in the goggles.
Can I get techie on you, Stan? I was looking at them the other day, and there appears to be 2 types. There's that one, the kind of what appears to be 2 cameras.
Yeah.
And then there's the standard
one, just
single. Yeah. Which is what's the difference?
Well, with this one, you get a full 360, but like, you know, you'll see everything around the camera. And with the single one that's just pointing up like that, you won't get the bottom.
Sorry,
you're just getting the top part. You what?
How many cameras total does it have on it? Sorry, I was trying to ask that.
2.
So that's quite. I see. I didn't realise that. I actually thought the opposite. I thought the single one was the better device. So
No, the double one. If you sit on the side there, I can't. Is that in focus?
No.
Not quite.
My phone's a bit.
Yeah, it's hard to do with a hangout to get it to focus.
Yeah, I can't. It won't let me tap on it, will it? And focus.
I'm not sure. What's it saying? You can tell us. It's not focusing, man.
No. But it just says about the two lenses and the high resolution. It does time lapse. You know, it's I think second hand can't go wrong. That was £150. That was second hand on eBay. You can pick them up on there. If you're patient, you'll get one for £100. And they are like, if you want, I've watched the video on YouTube of a bloke walking around in a hurricane, and it's just chucking down with rain, and he's walking about with it, and it's just getting soaked, and he's still filming because they say they're splash proof and water resistant. But I don't put that one on my roof. I've got the cheap one on the roof, you know.
So have you put up any footage from the top of your car yet? Just
yeah.
Live?
I went out the other night on a full moon at 1 a.m. with the car and put that on the roof and went for a drive.
Nice. I'll have to check that one out.
Had to be done.
I'm so backed up on videos. My watch list to watch is I'll never watch them all. Everybody I'm subbed to, I get notice all day, and it's like, I'll watch it when I can. I'll watch it when I can.
I did post a link in
the idea here is it's just like, it seems like the thing to do, like you said, with that full range, every direction. You can stop it and look at any angle of the sky when the sun.
Well, that's it. And it doesn't stretch nothing. It's as it is. You know, if you're watching it in the goggles with your phone, it's as it is.
So Stan, you were sorry.
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
You were talking about wanting to improve your network, for want of a better phrase, in terms of data collection.
Yeah.
What would you want if you can give a shout out to anyone? Then what are you actually after in terms of this moon tracking? What would you like that would give you something totally comprehensive that would track it over as much land as you can? Where are you thinking you need cameras?
Well, we just need locations. Like, it would be nice, Australia, each end of Australia would be nice. And,
like sort of northern Queensland, Australia, sort of Townsville sort of area.
Yeah, anywhere, everywhere, anyone that wants to help. You know, you soon know if it's not genuine or not. You'll know if someone's been trying to play games.
We have a member of the IRM panel, Rob, who's not here now, but he's in Townsville in Australia. So a nice £150, 360-degree camera on the roof. Get on it, Rob.
In that a year's wages in Australia.
They're rich.
Can we help him out? Anyone?
You're having a laugh, aren't you? He earns more than you and I, mate. And the price of living out there is hot.
He's the man.
Tell him to buy two, then we can do parallax.
There we go.
If anyone has an old 1K or half a K 360 or even a 250 camera to send to Canada, that'd be great.
It's not so much about the quality; it's about just the data. You know, that £60 camera I've got on my roof collects the data.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's not. You don't need a clear picture. You just need to know where that moon is in your sky.
Just need the data. I'm trying to share a screen here. I don't know what the hell's going on, but this is what I want to see in the south. This is what I want to see in the south. There it is.
You got it done.
Yeah.
And I understand you're not in Antarctica.
You'd need you could do it with these cameras, but you'd have to put a lens over the lens to stop the glare.
That's. I don't think that's what John's alluding to. I think this is the point I was making, John. What we're seeing here is the sun just turning around us. What we see in the end of that video is it clearly just descend like a standard sun from our perspective or anywhere else, you know. Not at the extremities. What you're seeing here,
this camera is going round in circles.
It's staying
static.
high, it's circumnavigating the environment, isn't it? That other one, it just stayed in a straight line and headed off to the distance, but the day stayed bright still, even though you appeared to see a semi-sunset. I want to watch that video more.
I can understand it. I mean, they had cloud cover that day, this, that, and the other. But they had cloud cover this day.
Yeah.
It's cloud cover every day in England.
Well, we know that. Blimey. Get out of it. Stop your bollocks. Yeah, and Rob said the same recently. Is that this is what we want to see?
Yeah, but I want to see that with the moon.
The moon or the sun. I mean, there's no lensing, filtering, or anything on this, but the moon, the sun, or exactly, it should be the same with the moon and the sun. In fact, that makes me ask, where are the Arctic pictures, the northern pictures of the moon doing this? I don't think I've seen any of them either. I've only seen sun.
I've never seen the moon anyway.
I believe you're right, John. Good.
Yeah, I've got another link for you to play. This is the one that we've managed to put a line to. This is the northern one.
When you say you put a line to it, what does that mean? That's quite...
You'll see.
Quick question, Stan, while you're doing that. In terms of the movement of the moon, when we think of the movement of the sun, it moves between the tropics and over the equator twice, you know what I mean? But between the tropics once a year. Are you, from your footage, seeing and confirming that the moon's moving between those tropics once a month, or anything different?
Yeah, we talked about this last time.
In a way, but not as you think.
Nice.
So I'm saying to you, there's right. There's the ball Earth, and then there's your flat Earth, and then there's something else.
You're a simulation guy, aren't
you? I'm just telling you what I see.
What's your preference? Yeah, are you in terms of percentage wise? I mean, let's cut it down. Flat, round, or Pac-Man.
I'm not sure. That's why we're data collecting.
What about the something? Tell us about.
Yeah, I've posted a link in the Hangout chat. And that's the northern sun.
What about the sun being apparent? As in it's a light source way further away than the sun that we actually see, but the sun that we're seeing is manifesting itself to our eyes on the atmosphere that is immediately above us. What about that?
You got to ask yourself, how good are your eyes?
Well, yeah. I mean, eyes can fool you, but and
this
is why.
Camera. That's probably a more pertinent question you could answer.
Are they better than your eyes?
No. But they see as far, but they're not as clear.
So they can be just as fooled in terms of perspective and distortion, and let's suppose that we're under some sort of atmosphere.
Yeah, but I'm not saying there's anything in your eyes that are tricking you, am I? I'm just saying your eyes ain't. Like when you look at a star, right? You're told that star is billions of light years away.
That's what we're told.
Yeah, well, my eyes ain't that fucking good, are they?
No, nor mine. No.
No.
Same with the sun.
How far can you see when you go out and you look with your eyes? You ain't got no zoom with your eyes, have you?
No, exactly. I mean, at best, you can probably see a couple of 100 miles at the top of a huge mountain. But that's due to angular resolution and air crap and that sort of thing, which will be picked up by the 360 camera as well.
So, how good do you think my P900 is?
Better
Depends
than my
which way you
eyes.
point it, doesn't it? Depends how much air you're pointing it through, and that's my
better than my eyes.
Moment.
Well, it's got zoom. That's the only difference.
Yeah, I was going to say that the zoom's something different, isn't it? But
your eyes are clearer than that camera.
I read somewhere your eyes are, what was it, 1.2 megapixels. Does that ring a bell? With the equivalent of, do you remember 1.2 megapixel cameras? I read somewhere, and this could have been absolute pop science horseshit, that your eyes were the equivalent of, the receptors on the back of your eyes, the retina was the equivalent of an optical receptor of 1.2 megapixels.
Again, I haven't tested them.
No, not me.
I only go on stuff that I've tested myself and know to be right.
Yeah, I like that thinking big time. I can't wait till you get to Antarctica.
Given what you were saying there, Stan, right? I'm only asking you to maybe make a judgment, but we're talking about at the point where we're visualizing the light, okay? And as we all know, if we shine a laser beam, we only see that laser beam when it hits something, whether that's dust in the air as it's traveling through it, or when it hits something more solid, like a wall. We see a laser pen hit that, don't we?
Yeah.
The sun's light's the same. Where do you envisage that this image is forming? Because that's clearly what we're seeing, which is why we see these anomalous images that some people are swearing means one thing or another. But we're seeing these, the clouds behind the sun, in front of the sun. Where do you think the actual image is forming? Do you think it's varied, or have you got data to show it's varied, or?
It appears to be quite constant.
Yeah.
There is a variation in the moon, but that could be down to what we're looking through.
Very well could be. I know sometimes when I'm seeing some of the cymatic type effects, it's is it happening with the object you're looking at, or is it happening in the medium that the object's in, if you will? I mean, that whole idea of energy layers or whatever's up there.
You go to a place on same place, 2 different days. One day's a hot day, one day's a cold day. You look along, you'll see like the objects through the camera will appear to be larger or smaller.
Exactly. Well, the light itself. I mean, we were talking about this just a few days ago with the whole eclipse thing, with the shadow being created that's smaller than the actual size of the moon. If you hold a light up and an object to the wall, the closer you get to the light source, that object's shadow is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you put that object directly above the surface of what you're shining the shadow on, and it can only be the same size as that object. It can't be smaller. But then people start talking about different types of light that are being emitted and different angles, and penumbra versus umbra versus antilumbra, and it just starts to become a lot of scientific gobbledygook to confuse people and make them think that what their mind and their eyes are seeing isn't correct.
Yeah, but that was an amazing thing about tell everybody about the size of the area in the United States and then the diameter of the moon. I thought that was brilliant.
Well, the moon itself is 2,000 miles wide, and the shadow that's going to be the totality is 70 miles wide. So far, the biggest totality shadow that's been recorded was 165 miles wide, 267 kilometers. So that's less than 1% of what they say the size of the Earth is. That just doesn't make sense. If the scale and the distances are what they say they are, the shadow should cover really the whole side of the Earth.
And
it shouldn't be a pinpoint.
Didn't we talked about this the other night, and didn't we come to the sort of conclusion that, if you had the moon that is, let's say, a third of the size of Earth, if you had the moon in the heliocentric model and you had it right next to the Earth, 100 miles off the surface of the Earth, then that shadow it would cast would be the literal width of the moon. Yeah, and then what we worked out, we were doing it live on camera actually, but I don't know if anyone recorded that. But what we worked out is that if you move that moon away from the Earth, that shadow would get exponentially larger, not smaller.
Yes, sir, not smaller. That's exactly it. In no physical way can an object that I've played with lights for 2 days now make a shadow smaller than itself.
No.
Without another light source doing some kind of weird trickery.
Absolutely. And that in itself strikes me as, a bit of a showstopper for the heliocentric ball model anyway. There is no way you can have like a 72-mile shadow.
Well, our footage, our data collecting, that's blown the ball out of it already, mate.
So that brings up an interesting question. What kind of things are you gonna you guys aren't gonna see any of the eclipse, are you?
Who knows?
In August? I'm not really sure how
Shouldn't
far.
they be able to see the dark side of the moon? This should be monumental. Everybody gets
right? That was another one we talked about. If where I'm gonna, if South Louisiana doesn't get totality, then why am I not seeing the other side of the moon? The angles.
When you ever see one face of the moon, everyone sees the same face.
Tidal locked. Yes, sir.
That one in my picture. You all
Yes,
see
sir.
it just different ways.
Come on, Stan, give us a headline, mate. Come on, give
What do you want me to say?
I want one of the things that you feel solid that at least. I know you've got a lot of stuff you want to say, but you've alluded to a lot of stuff. But give us something that's backing up the points you're making, because I know you know what you're talking about. I just want you to put a bit of teeth on it.
The world's flat.
Concise. I love it.
That's a lie.
Love it.
You've been looking at the moon. You probably have more terabytes than some of the space organizations, which is really cool. You've been looking at this for a long, long time now.
I bet Stan won't lose his telemetry.
No, but tell the viewers, and please tell me what the greatest thing, the biggest piece of knowledge that you picked up from watching that disc every night.
Sky's a rainbow.
Oh,
elaborate.
So you can work.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Can you triangulate a rainbow?
Oh, no.
Dan, you faded out there, bro. Can you start again? Literally, as you said, the sky's a rainbow and you dropped out.
Well, the sky's a rainbow. If you can understand the rainbow, you understand how the sky's working. You can't triangulate a rainbow, can you?
Right.
That's why no one can triangulate the sun or the moon.
Yeah.
Right. Because I know many have tried.
wow. That's what Adam was asking for. We just needed to double team you to get it out of you.
So does that mean you subscribe to the apparent sun and the apparent moon?
I unsubscribe to nothing.
Okay.
You know?
But when you say the sky's a rainbow, you can't triangulate on a rainbow. Are you saying that you can't triangulate on the sun or the moon?
No.
Okay. Then I'm lost.
If you could do it, it'd be done. I've
Sure.
done it. The things we're seeing, like, you know, there's nothing between I'm on the Isle of Wight in England, the Cosmic Surfers in Cape Town, you know, and we're looking at the sun, and the angles that we're seeing to that sun are impossible.
You're a simulation guy, aren't you? Come on,
No,
you can tell us.
I'm telling you how it is.
There's only 11 people watching.
Just when,
6 of us are here.
Hey, there's a video I've put in. There's a video I've just put in the Hangout. The last link. If you play that, Flat Earth, put on the glasses. Watch that. It's literally 4 minutes. I made it last week.
You seem quite elusive to sort of
say
what you say.
I don't want you to be influenced by me.
Right. I can understand.
You know what I'm saying? I want you to put on the glasses and tell me what you see.
Right.
Not me tell you what to see.
Sure.
I respect that. Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
A great They Live reference. One of my favorite movies. I love it. Get your Hoffman lenses on, man.
Well, also
lensing's a good point, isn't it?
Lensing is a key to a lot of things.
Is a really good point you're making there. And if I was looking in my fish tank with a round face, I can see the same thing in many different positions. It's not moving, but it moves whenever I move. And I think there's a distinction between lensing and the effect that could have and whatever is doing the lensing. And I think the Hennessy ad suggests something there. Is that what outside of
trying to get that headline that you're talking about? You know, I mean, I understand that you don't want to influence our thinking and how we interpret things or whatever, but I mean, to be honest, it's a bit late for that. You know, we're at the stage now where we you know, take the best and leave the rest, and I can sit in front of a 9-hour David Icke lecture or whatever and walk away with 10% of it, thinking, yeah, that's good, that's interesting. You know, I'm not. What I'm going to say is, I don't think too many people are going to be influenced about what you interpret about what you see, but I would be interested to know what you conclude or interpret from what you see, and then I can go and look at it and see if I agree, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we can do that, but probably off air.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah,
like it.
Well, considering there are people on there, what would you say to people? What would you add then, just to end this point, so we can move on? What would you just summarize then as an assist for people to guide them in their vision of what they're seeing?
What they're seeing from me
in terms of perspective of what, because we've all pondered it, haven't we? We all sit there thinking, what the bloody, how am I viewing it? Is it, which angle is it? As you alluded in terms of Cosmic Surfer in South Africa, is it a complete acuteness, obtuseness of angle that's, do you know what I mean? Well, maybe you could elaborate on that a little bit, Stan, in terms of angles.
You're seeing a light in the sky, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm meaning in terms of comparative angle at the same time of day between here and South Africa. What's the objection?
Well, we wouldn't. You know, on a ball, it's impossible. The ball doesn't, you know, it just, there's more flaws in the ball than anything. It's smashed to bits. It's been glued back together more times than you can imagine.
Don't think you get dissenters here, mate, on that one. That's, you know what I mean?
Well, that's brilliant stuff, man. That is so cool, Stan.
You know, just forget the ball. It don't exist.
Yeah, is there anything specific you wanted to add, or anything else that you wanted to maybe share with us or the listeners?
share that video. Like, you should share that because it's just funny. Like, I was just sat there and it came to me how to put it together. And,
Nice.
yeah, it just worked. You know, it's a little bit long. I need to cut down the fight scene really, but
Yeah, that is one of the longest fight scenes I think in film history.
yeah, no, I did cut a lot of it out, man. But it still needs more.
Still
You know, it was just like every time he said it, it was like, yeah, I sort of want to put that in there. But
Shout out to Roddy Piper for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, quality film. They live.
And even John Carpenter himself said They Live as a documentary. Not just Roddy tweeted it, but I have an interview where John Carpenter says it. Which
Well,
that's
that's
the
great.
director of the film.
Cheers for the
all
info there.
non-cinephiles.
Is
Well,
Cosmic
staying
Surfer
hopefully
around
in the
as
near
well?
future.
he's just woken up. I think he's had a busy day. I don't know. I'll see if he'll jump on with us.
That'd be great.
Could be good, yeah.
Because
Always
yeah,
good to add to the crew for sure.
we've had a lot of chats lately.
I bet. Yeah, have a look. See if Cosmic Surfer can join us. Did we manage to get Josh back?
I think he's still out and about playing dog catcher.
Okay, that's cool. What do we have lined up for the rest of it? There was a few hit points we
little
had to get
bits
to.
and pops here. I was going to speak a little bit more about the meetup yesterday in Portland.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let us in on that.
Well, it was put together by a gentleman named Chris Cox. He has founded what is called the Flat Earth Oregon, little organization here. It looks like they're based somewhere on the coast, a little place called Seaside or somewhere close to that. They do, like when I first got here, they were doing a gathering hike on a little mountain trail there somewhere on Seaside. So I guess he decided to take it a little more urban for those of us who aren't big mountain climbers, and he moved it to a meetup last night in a little pub there in Portland. There were 6 people confirmed on the little app invitation thing he sent around. When I got there, there was about 8 people in the area that he had designated, and then while we were all trying to gather and get what we were going to drink together, someone came and said, "Hey, I think we're all in the front," and turned out there were by the end of the night, we had about 22 people there. So it definitely grew quickly.
Wow.
I think a lot of that may have had to do with Mr. Mark Sargent's little promo about the event, perhaps got some more people interested. And then I think D Marble, who had done the spirit level on the plane video that kind of blew up, he was there and he had done a little promo for it the day or two before. So it actually got bigger than even Chris was expecting it to be. A lot of networking, met a lot of people who have some skills they're ready to add to what we're all trying to do. Like I said, I met this guy named Cooper who's a machinist and wants to help with any kind of, building boxes or, anything that he could help as far as balloon launches. He has some ideas about a way to get the balloon down without it popping and maybe being reusable, that kind of thing, which at the cost of these balloons, that would be great.
We've been thinking, sorry to interrupt, man, but we were thinking like balloons with drones, like high, helium drones.
That's great.
Hello.
I love drones. Is that Cosmic joining us?
Yeah.
Indeed, it is Cosmic. How are you guys?
Hi, man. Welcome. Good morning for you, I guess, or afternoon, or just welcome.
It's 2:15 in the morning.
Welcome,
wow, so you've had a little nap already.
So forgive me for
2 in the
joining late,
morning.
but I needed it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same
Remember,
time in South Africa, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're an hour ahead.
So
No,
at
only
the
'cause
moment,
of
yeah.
time.
At the moment, we don't have daylight saving. We don't have that stupid rule here, hey?
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's good. Good to have you on.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah,
So I've been listening to you guys. You poor guys are pummeling this. I'll stand there about how to explain this. Let me tell you a story. I've had Stan and Z explaining it to me for months on end, and I've been arguing and pummeling and arguing and pummeling, till one day I put the damn glasses on. And you know what I saw? Something completely different to what they'd explained to me. You cannot interpret it unless you have actually physically put the glasses on. It's impossible to tell people because it's an interpretation. And once you look at it, you understand, hang on, this is a very different story. This is actually not something that you can transfer to someone's brain.
Damn, I'm going to have to get some glasses now.
I'm going to get the glasses, right?
You have to put them on.
Can I say thank you for explaining that? Because I don't, and no offense, Stan, but I don't think you quite realize, like, or maybe you forgot what it was like to put on the glasses. Like, we are clueless. And I think it's one of those things that until you do it, you have no idea. So thanks for saying that, Cosmo.
You're welcome.
That's why I thought it's best getting him on, because like we had a few long conversations, didn't we, mate?
Absolutely. Almost at the point of not being heated, but I was frustrated because the two of them were explaining things and it was just the mathematics of it wouldn't work out in my head. But in saying that, between Z and myself, it's been 2 years of data collecting where it's been times where we've both been doing a synchronized shot. And when we show each other the same shot, it is not the same thing we're looking at. It's his moon and it's my moon. It's not our moon. Do you understand what it's sort of? It's like you carry your own fiber optic cable with you.
So it's
and the
like
end of the fiber optic is where you.
So it's like standing at the beach and seeing the sun's reflection coming to your feet.
Yes.
As opposed to someone else. You can't see the sun's reflection coming to other people's feet.
Get out of my head, John. I was going to say that.
But that's the reality.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, it's that thing where it's your personal sun, your personal moon. Yeah.
See, that leads me.
I want to say that to you. I want you to work it out, really.
That's what leads me to
2 weeks, man, sitting with the goggles on, just going, "What is going on?" And then it just all clicked for me one night, and it was like, "That's what's happening." And then it is. We've like.
I am so excited to get a pair of these goggles now. Literally, I really am.
Can I just ask a question then? I mean, you know, you've heard me talk about. I understand the concept you're making. I mean, everything we see, the person sat next to me, the image they see is different, and
yes,
John summed it up beautifully with that. So, with respect, what inference have you drawn from the origin of the images that we're all seeing from different positions? Where do you think the original image is originating from, and what do you think is then illuminating that image outwards to the different parts of the plane?
It's difficult to say about the source because we haven't got enough high-altitude balloon footage, or as we've been speaking lately, we need a drone that can go up as high as it can possibly go and stay there for an hour or two or whatever, hopefully a day or two.
Yeah.
Because it's the source. Yeah, 8 hours would. Yeah, that would be nice. It's really it's a matter of the source. From what we've seen online, there's plenty of footage. Seems to be considerably smaller than what you actually see at ground level. I actually challenge people. I challenge people often. I say, how many sunsets have you watched in your life? And living at the coast, obviously, that's a really silly thing to ask because people always say, "Oh, I see sunset most days that I go home." And I say to them, "Really? Have you seen the sunset, or is that just the light that you see receding?" Because I don't think we've ever seen a sunset. Because what you see setting is not the sun; it's the light from the sun. Yeah. It's not the sun.
I agree. Mm-hmm. And does this lead you more to the conclusion that what we're seeing is an apparent sun?
It's. I wouldn't say it leads me to that. Is one of the conclusions one can obviously draw. Have you people seen the latest Antonio Subarat's posting that he did with the argon gas?
Yeah.
That little compilation.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
For us to start
exactly what I was thinking.
Because at the end of the day, what we've proven with the sun tracking, and I've partaken in a few now, it is an impossibility to triangulate anything up there.
That's what I was going to say.
Impossible.
Is from your data that you've gathered from the sun tracking, you've sort of concluded that it's not practical or easy to track the sun.
It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah,
You can
Makes
track
no
the sun.
sense. Yeah, you can track the light, but what you're tracking is not something which you can actually compare with someone else via a mathematical equation at this stage.
Right, that helps a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, but that also blows everything out the water.
Only in
Because
terms
really
of
where we
what's
are now-
happening in the sky.
Yeah,
Sort
I
of
mean,
reflecting.
we actually don't have a clue. Well, is it a reflection? Or is
No.
it
I mean, in terms of watching what's happening in the sky and trying to conclude what that means in terms of where we live and what we're living on. As far as I can see at the moment, what we live on and what we're in is completely separate to what we're seeing above us. And what conclusions we can draw from what we're seeing above us. Sorry, James, carry on.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out that Stan and sorry, what's your name, sir?
Mine?
Yeah.
My name's actually Rolf. ROLF. That's it.
Rolf. Rolf and Stan, our Australian connection has just joined. Rob, welcome back, and say hi to Stan Smith and Rolf.
Hey, fellas, how you going?
Good.
All right,
Good. So, what were you going to say?
Rob, have you been listening?
360 camera, it seems like.
I've got another quick question, guys, to Rolf.
Yeah.
Do you feel that magnetics is playing any role in the disbursement of this image?
I have been on that for years, and the first time I saw any of Ken Wheeler's stuff, it was sort of, I wish we had a 30-foot thick ferrocell to get inside, because that is really, to me, it seems to be the only thing, because everything in the world is really magnetically driven, in my opinion. And I think that is probably the closest to reality, but I'm still the one that's going to stay outside of the sim. Because I heard you guys pummeling Gav earlier about simulation. Forget the simulation. I don't want to be part of that group.
Good man.
It's just interesting. I couldn't get a positive or a negative out of Stan. Sorry, Stan, but you're extremely
you won't
caged.
get nothing out of me.
Yeah. And I can understand why as well. I know every single word that you say on this forum is interpreted and assumed and pigeonholed and everything else. So I can understand that, but yeah, I'm sort of with you there, Rolf. It's something we can't explain yet, but I'm not quite ready to jump to a sort of game theory or simulation theory. But yeah, fascinating stuff. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, you're welcome. I've got a friend who is, I call him an EMC square fanatic, because he absolutely adores mathematics, and he's been into astrology and the stars all his life. So he went for a trip from Cape Town to Australia to visit a friend a couple of weeks ago, and I said to him, look, what time are you flying? And he said to me, both flights are in the night, so sorry, I can't look at the horizon for you. I said, I'm not interested in the horizon. You're the star man. Tell me how many stars you see. So he arrived back in Cape Town, and I phoned him the other day, and I said to him, and so how many stars did you actually note, and that you could actually basically say that is that star, that star? He says, Rolf, there isn't a single star up there. I'm completely confused. Now he's got nothing more to say to me at the moment, because, I mean, this is a guy that's 40, I think he's just turned 44, 45. And this is his whole life, which has just come to an end in belief. Because he's part of the astronomy group. He's got a best friend who actually has got a scope shop. So when these guys are here at my premises, I have a hard time, because they are all into the books. That's how it is. No, it's not. Have a look.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've got one guy, which he's got Italian blood in him, so he speaks a lot. I've got him now understanding that, hang on, things are maybe not as they were taught. So now, how am I going to get these people to put the damn glasses on? Because
So, Rolf, can you explain that one to me again? You had an astronomer go up into an airplane. I missed it. Sorry, into an airplane. Did you or something?
He went for a trip to visit a friend in Australia, and I asked him what time his flights were. So he said that both flights were at night because he was hoping that I was going to ask him to take some photographs of the horizon. So he said, well, both flights are at night. I said to him, well, that's fine because I want you to see the stars. Tell me how many stars you can recognize up there. And when he came back, he didn't see any stars up there. He says there's a point where you get to a certain altitude at night and then there's nothing up there. It's just black.
5 miles.
I mean, I doubt if he was, probably about 5 miles. What do planes fly?
The other day, 5 miles, and then there's no stars.
Yeah,
that's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've only personally been on a couple of night flights in my life, and that's not something I've never looked at. So yeah, that's very interesting.
But these are the things which we've now got to start looking at because there's too much that we don't understand. And in all honesty, I mean, I've actually been saying for the last couple of weeks, I'm absolutely tired with this whole FE because everybody thinks they know exactly what's going on. And let's be humble. None of us have got a clue. Everybody's chewing and rehashing the old stuff. You know what? Flat Earth is old school. We know it's flat. We don't care anymore. We now need to know what's further than that because flat Earth we walk on every day. But what's above us? Because that's part of the connection that we need to understand.
Yes,
because
and below us, I feel too. We've only got 8 kilometers or 8 miles. You know, that's the next frontier. But I think what you're bringing to the table, Rolf, is just phenomenal. Like this is incredible. By the way, thank you very much for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
But we got to get Rob. We got to get Rob in Australia. Like he will do it. Rob, you can do this. We need to get you a 360 camera on your property for sure, man.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
It's vital. It's vital. And I'll tell you guys what's even more important about the 360 camera. I got a P900 now for probably close on 2 years. If you take the amount of work that a P900 is compared to a 360. A P900 is something you really got to work at. You got to get up every half an hour, or whatever the case may be, go outside, set up, film, and that can really take time. But a 360 camera, as long as you've got a good-sized card in there and it's running on Wi-Fi, you can let the thing run for a whole week. Download it once a week. It's your Saturday morning chore, your Sunday morning chore. Take the card out quickly, download everything. It's very simple.
With the P900, you only get 2.5 hours, do you, of time lapse on your P900?
Well, if you do time lapses, yeah, but if you're going to do a star trace, you can actually just hook it up to a power supply and you can take photos for 10, 12 hours if you want to. And star traces are actually more important in a way than star trails. But star trails are only pretty for a route and a pattern, but you don't actually recognize the stars if you don't do the star traces in between. Because that was another thing which I've been asking questions about for 2 years is how does the southern celestial pole work? Because it doesn't work on a flat Earth, nor does it work on a globe.
It does work on a flat Earth.
Well, not really, because you can walk around the flat Earth and the same celestial pole is still there. It travels with you, whereas the north is static.
How much are these 360 cameras worth? The one that'll be decent enough to do what you do.
Yeah, Rob, I've showed it earlier. I'll show you again, Greg.
They're surprisingly affordable, actually. I was thinking they would be like in that P900 range, but
no.
See that? This is the dearer one, like the Samsung one. I'll put it out. Hang on.
And that's probably about 200 quid now.
Well, I paid 150 for it.
Well, there we go.
What's a quid?
£150 of something. I don't know what.
Gotcha.
Sometimes rupees or figure barabons.
We can have Canada.
But yeah, you can unscrew it off that little stand and screw it onto whatever you want. It's like a normal ball screw. Yeah.
Oh, so you can mount it on a bigger tripod or a different...
Yeah, I'll mount it on anything.
Oh, wow.
I'm mounting it on the car.
You are selling this thing today, trust me,
Mounting
brother.
it on the drone. Yeah, I need to get shares in these. I'm going to go wild, mate.
It's interesting you keep coming back to drones. Early on, I was playing with drones, trying to get one up and look around for curvature, and I realized, well, this is ridiculous. This little styrofoam kite with propellers isn't going to get high enough. But as I keep crashing and adding to the discard pile, I'm like, well, I will one day create that Franken drone that will be able to fly up there and see what's going on. And now you guys are talking about the drone being the secret. And from our buddy John Brahma, he actually talked about the fact that the drones the technology has been suppressed and keeps, being like what we have compared to the military.
Why do you think you see drones being crashed into the White House and going over places so that they can ban them and add codes?
Oh, you're right though, man. That's what it is.
Yeah,
more you have in this sort of tech because you can use it.
I would go one step further, guys. I've just frustratingly spent the past day and a half trying to register a little drone for my kids, one of these Parrot drones.
Register.
Yeah, and this is the point I'm trying to make. When you buy one now, you have to have a software update, and this software update is linked to a legal act within the UK with regards to their registration and usage, as far as I can see.
Good grief.
You can't get the thing to work until you register the product code and your email address.
They haven't gone that far here.
All right. Now, the strange thing is, and this is only suggestion, but this is my experience, is you're told once you to log on to the website and download the update and it'll work. Because this thing can drive. This is one of the driving ones, but it can drive around. You can talk through it. You can record and speak to people in different rooms through it. So you're told this is the reason, blah blah blah. But in doing so, they never actually tell you have to register. But I've got two now, and the first one. The reason I got two is I bought the second one because I got the first one off eBay. I thought it was broke, but I logged in. Gave them the full registration. They came back, and this is the excuse from Parrot that they told to my son because I used his email. Oh, no problem. It must be the cable you've used, the stamp that they gave us. Use a different cable and try the update again. And I did it, and the drone started working perfectly. And
that sounds to me like a hard code which has been written in like the computers.
It's very odd that it didn't work until I gave my details or,
Yeah, I didn't have none of that problem. I bought an old second-hand one.
Just
throw it out there.
Here in the States, it's a wait. Or at least when I played with, when I first got mine a year or two ago, and then my brother got one last year when I was here. If yours is over a half pound here in the States, it has to be registered. It gets a FAA number, and then you have to actually file a flight plan if you're within, like, I think it's something ridiculous, like 500 feet of what they call an airport. Now, what that means in an urban area is if there's a Coke plant a mile away with a helipad on top, or a hospital down the street with a helipad on top, you essentially cannot fly your drone because they won't let you file that flight plan because of the area you're in. So you have to go way out to a designated area, or you have to just essentially not fly your drone anywhere except in the house.
Oh, but of course, Amazon and Domino's will be able to fly anywhere with their pizza.
Right. With the pizza drone.
Yeah, no, we don't get none of that. Like, I don't have no trouble with mine. Well, touch wood, I haven't. I'll just go out. It's quite I'll just go over in the fields, or I've been flying it over Gold Mill Fort a couple of times, and there's an old fort, World War II fort over there.
Oh, I'd like to see that footage. That'd be awesome.
It's on my YouTube, man. 360 as well, so you can look wherever you want.
Man, right, I'll just dig in deeper.
Rolf, I got a question for you. Another one. Sorry to go back to you, but Stan was talking about the 360 sun in Antarctica. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm dead against that. Completely against that. I don't think you can see the sun in Antarctica for a 24-hour day. What I have heard, and this is at this stage, there's no photographic evidence, so it's only hearsay. But one of my customers, he has a friend who's a Southern Route ship's captain, and apparently, there are times when you look due south, you can see the sun disk. Now, this is something which is hearsay at this stage. I haven't seen, but apparently this guy has got photographs of it. So you see what we would see with a camera and a filter. You see that sun disk, but it's not actually the sun. So I don't know how true this is. I mean, we must got to remember that we got someone like Doomsweaver that's been down there for 13 months, and he can attest to not seeing the sun for 24 hours a day. Yes, having light, but not sun. So I don't know.
Kind of where we are, so that kind of jives with, well, at least I am. I know Adam's pondering that. It's kind of what we've been led to think as well. So, yeah, that's great to hear.
Rolf, can I ask, if you're down in South Africa, do you know many other flat earthers down there?
I don't know one. I've heard of two. One I know from my old party days. And then there's obviously my perspective, who's gone off the scene. But that's the only two that I know of. And then there was a well-loved teacher that passed on about 4 or 5 years ago. He was the chairman of the Flat Earth Society of South Africa. He lived up in Durban. And when he passed on, there was a newspaper clipping about him being a flat earther all his life. And also being a teacher that taught his students all his life that the bullshit you have to learn to pass is this, but the earth is flat.
That's what I tell my children. If you get a chance, are you on Twitter, Cosmic? Rob?
No, I'm not on any social media, not at all.
Right, okay. Well, if you want to know another flat earther in South Africa, there's a guy on Twitter who is GR8 Believer, great believer.
Oh, yes. Yeah, but he's 1,100 kilometers away from me.
Right, yeah, that's a walk in the park for someone like Rob.
Yeah, it's just down the road.
Yeah, it's a trip to the shops.
I actually have been in contact with him, so we are actually setting up sometime when he gets some money together to get a 360 camera. He's going to put one up at his place, and then there'll be at least be the synchronicity between the two of us. Brilliant. But he has to first save up, because I think he's just bought a camera.
When we first started up IRM, it was in January and February of last year, we sort of started. We hadn't had a name yet, but we had a guy with us called Tyrone. He lived in Cape Town, and he fell off the face of the earth. He just went, and we were chatting to him, and then he was gone. I used to chat to him about the Southern Cross and what he can see, and we were about to start comparing notes and what he saw and what time he saw them, and then he was gone, and we never heard from him again. It was bizarre. So yeah, he was. Yeah, we would have made some good notes, myself and him. Yeah, he was a good guy.
Yeah. There's a lot of people which have seen funny things in Cape Town which have been online, and because they get so trolled and so spammed with rubbish. They actually go offline. Because there's an old pilot that lives in a place called Langebaan, which is about 125 kilometers up the west coast from me. He's been also looking out. He's been a pilot. He's been looking out at the earth and is always saying to everybody that it's flat. But he got ridiculed to the point where he just completely shut down. I managed to find him through an old email and asked him, and he said, no, he's not getting involved with that. He hasn't got time for that. You either take the footage that is shown and understand that that's what he's shown. He hasn't bullshitted or doctored anything, but he just couldn't handle it. Now, for me, I don't care because, I go through comments and I see them, and as soon as it gets to negative and abusive, I just forget the comment line. I don't have time for that.
Can you give us that guy's YouTube account?
I'll have to go and find it. It is an old YouTube account, but he's seen a lot of anomalies in the sky. I'll have to actually find it.
I'd love to see some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see if I can make a plan and find it sometime on the weekend.
No worries. It's great stuff.
So yeah, at the end of the day, guys, it's all about 360s and just getting the data together, because this has to be data driven. most important. Data cannot be fooled. The rest is perspective. And like we say, we were stupid. The other two are all perspective. One is flat perspective. The other one is a ball earther. You can't have flat perspective and a ball earther on two sides. Flat doesn't have perspective. You know what I mean?
Yep.
On that one then, well, we say you put the glasses on and we're given perspective. Are we able to extrapolate that data in any way onto a plane to give us coordinates of?
Well, that is something which we're working on at the moment. And with the last sun tracking, we were supposed to get a spreadsheet with all the inputs and the places where everybody are. And unfortunately, the person that was supposed to get the data together did a really wonderful job of not doing it. So we have no points of data at this stage. So
all
the
we
next
want
point
is moon tracks, don't we, Rob?
Moon paths are the most important because they're the easiest to follow, because the camera equipment that we have at our disposal for budget does not do the sun properly. If you want a decent 360 camera now, I reckon you're going to pull about $60,000 out your pocket because the sun is too glary for us. So the next thought that I was actually contemplating on is going to an optometrist and finding out how they do the chromatic glasses. Because if you can get a good optical dome, put it over the camera, which is chromatic, then maybe we can start tracking the sun. Because I think the sun and the moon follow very, very similar, what we call it scan lines.
Very good idea.
Well, we think they follow the same, don't we?
Well, I'm still of the opinion that the moon is slightly closer on the scan line than the sun. I think the sun might go slightly further and the moon might on both sides, really. That's just a thought. I have not any data on that. It's just a thought because we haven't got that data.
Well, interestingly enough, at the beginning of the show, our buddy Rob was just talking about that very thing.
You're talking about the tortoise and the hare, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's
in a
an
way.
old wives' tale about the sun and the moon.
I just, look, I tell you what, the moment we get a 24-hour moon in the Arctic Circle, and that is on the scan line, then we can actually put that down and say, right, that is the exact line. But we need a 24-hour. Sergey from Murmansk was supposed to do a 360 for us now, but he obviously didn't get a 360 camera up like I had been requesting him for months. Because that would have been, this is an ideal opportunity which is passing very fast at the moment. We only get this opportunity once a year for a 360 of the 360 sun.
We can get him one to do a 360 moon in the winter.
Well, we'll
what
have
we
to.
really need is a 360 sun and moon in the north and 360 sun and moon in the south, and then we
That's
can
a year's worth.
really, yeah. Well,
That's
is
the
it a
whole-
year's
the whole
worth? It's 24 hours worth in the north and 24 hours worth in the south at the right time of year.
Yeah, but it's
No, I actually think that's also something which I've, from the last sun tracking, I actually made this public as well. We've been bullshitted into the sun lemma effect, because the sun analemma is something which they fool us with, because that figure of 8 doesn't exist.
Really?
It's a straight line. You can time it on the north. You can't time it on a clock. A clock is nonsense. The sun doesn't work on a clock system. The sun works on a 360. Well, no, that time is a construct.
Yeah,
But
our time is a construct, but the sun's time is not a construct. It's reality,
No.
isn't it?
That's 15 degrees per hour.
Mm.
That's the reality. So that 15 degrees, when you measure that in time in the north, is far differently to in the south. Because if you take the last sun tracking when Gav and myself were on, there was on that solstice there was a 54-minute shift in the time that it took to reach the northern point, the magnetic northern point. 54 minutes shift in 4 days.
Well, I'd love to drill down into this, because I mean it's beyond the scope of this show, but I'd love
Can
to
I
drill
ask
down
a
to this
question
bit
again
more.
on that? What you're saying there, what the sun's path each day as a line. Are we
Yes.
talking like in the Book of Enoch, where we're going to have 9 lots of three identical paths, or are we talking a slightly different path each day?
That's where we need to get the data, because that's really where it is. Because if you look how the sun shifted in those 4 days, and I should have done a week before and a week after, because we might have been able to understand that it's a tracking change.
Yeah.
So the sun actually moves in one day. It actually moves across a tracking section as it shifts from one side to the other. So there's an acceleration point where it goes towards the north, and there's an acceleration point where it goes to the south. You can pick that up on your northern point, but never on the clock.
Right. Interesting stuff, folks. It's been a while.
Rolf, do you think we're in a dome?
We're listening to Iron.
I don't think we're in a dome, no. I think we're in a magnetic toroidal field. But that's my think.
Can I add to that point? Do you think that magnetic toroidal field is part of the reason we see 24-hour daylight in the south?
It's quite possible, because the magnetic force will actually carry light through, because it bends light. So that's why I think that that video that was posted by Antonio this week, I think that's actually something where a lot of people should actually just take a moment, sit down, ponder on it, and then go forward.
Bingo.
Because I think I've done a few sunrises now, and when you look at the shape of the light when it arrives in the morning, long before you can see the sun, that's not something you see on a ball.
No.
But it's also not something that makes a whole bunch of sense on a flat Earth, unless you've got a one-sided light. Because that's also something I've asked people. Yes.
Do you see sundogs?
I've never seen a sundog here.
No. I was watching that video. I was watching the video yesterday. Who and What by Antonio Subirats, and there was a lot of sundogs, and I'm nearly certain that would be all in the northern hemisphere. I've never seen one here, and obviously you've never seen one, so that just makes me think that maybe there's a dome, and the shape of the dome in the north might be causing this, and why we don't get sundogs and the northern hemisphere does. And that's just a thought. So what do you think about that?
We don't have the moisture content in the south that the people in the north have. So I think our sky is completely different.
Well, the further north
you're talking about humidity, are you? You're talking about humidity?
Yes, humidity. Humidity and the cold up there.
Humidity. I have high humidity where I am. Like I'm in the tropics of Australia. Yeah, but
it's
I don't
hot.
see that.
It's not cold. It seems to be high humidity, or at least high moisture, which is possibly even frozen content. I don't know. I don't know what is up there, but it seems to be cold region related, never in the warm regions.
Yeah, I've never seen one. And
Rolf, would you be up for coming back on Iron Realm Media and giving us an update every now and again, and Stan, of course?
Yeah, of course, no problem with that. I should have been on last weekend, but I just didn't make it last weekend. I was tired.
Yeah. Oh, and hey, no worries. Sometimes things work, sometimes things don't on this particular show. But yeah, if you just locking you in for next week or a few weeks after, same with you, Stan, just to give us updates on this, because this is something we really need to nail down.
It's going to take a lot of work, and it takes commitment from a lot of people, because there's very many people that say, they wouldn't mind getting involved, but then at the end of the day, when you wait for them, then you can wait till the cows come home, because people, it's commitment. You have to either want to.
Action
Talk is cheap.
Talk is words. Cheap. Yeah. But I think you've come to the right place, my friend. And I know I was trying to say earlier, and I couldn't get it out. We haven't had a break in a while. So everybody listening, you're listening to Iron Realm Media Flat Friday Fringe Cast. Our host, Josh Corey, has stepped away for a minute. And we hope you have enjoyed today's show as much as we have. And I think we're going to be starting the Fringe here really soon, folks. What do you say?
So let's get in the Fringe.
I think we're way beyond it, right? I think we stepped into the Fringe hours ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
My timer says we've been going 3 hours 35 minutes. So yeah.
Yes,
This is how these shows work, and we've been joined by amazing
and to everyone
guests.
in chat, thanks for sticking with us too. Greg Vanneman, he's been with us from the start, and Alba.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Greg is just a trooper on the
Cheers,
chat
mate.
here. He's just a trooper.
Our spanner crew.
The wrenchman.
Right.
Yeah, the wrenchman. Oh man, that was funny. The stack of wrenches from you guys. I can't remember the word, but it's funny.
Bag of spanners.
Rolf, I recommend you get on Twitter, and it's not just a silly name. It's actually quite bloody useful.
Yeah, I know, but I've got a Twitter bot. I know he's not going to like that, but Z watches the Twitter for me.
You got your tentacles,
So
like it.
Twitter AI is real.
Well, that's the only way we can do it, because I'm unfortunate in the position, and I say this in a very loose way. I'm a business owner. So I've got at 7:30 in the morning, I've got to make sure I'm ready for customers. And when the last customer leaves the door at 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when we close the doors. So I have that working day. I'm unfortunately ingrained in the slave system, and it's my wife and myself which run the business together. So it is a commitment during the day. If I had all the time in the world to sit and do this, because I've been at this since 2010. So it's not like I climbed on yesterday. It was 2010 that I started asking, because you can see by my name, Cosmic Surfer. I mean, I am the original Star Trekkie. I'm the Star Wars fanatic.
You're like Walt.
Yes, sir.
And Adam, who works.
Yeah, welcome to the club, bro. It's
Yeah, exactly. So it was more of a disappointment when I started asking questions and realizing that there were no answers. Than for a lot of other people. So Flat Earth wasn't something which was an awakening for me. It was a relief. It was like, okay, this makes sense. This really does. Because Flat Earth's been around before, hey, guys, in the early internet days. I'm starting to sound like an old man, but the early internet days actually had Flat Earth in it. It
Flat
was
Earth
difficult
has
to
been
find.
around since the internet's been around, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and they quelched it once before, and they're sure as hell pushing to quelch it again.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Good luck.
But it's just, guys, if you look at what flat earthers are giving these days, you go onto any podcast, it's nonsense, it's drama, it's song and dance. Nobody's doing, everybody's talking about each other. And
Not
that one's an
everybody.
arsehole. Well, not everybody, true. But I mean, let's call it the main runners.
Yeah.
As far as I'm
Adam likes to talk about himself. He talks about himself a lot.
Constant.
Well, we like to do experiments here. We like to test it. We like things that anyone can do themselves. We like anything, even the 360 cameras along those lines. Absolutely. If anything can show it, prove it, look at it, observe it, repeat it, falsify it, whatever, then we're interested in
Just
it.
get people thinking about it. I mean, get people looking at it. You know? That's
We're not
this
into
is
the
what's up-
personality slaggings or anything. I mean,
Yeah.
I think if anything, you come away from here and it is take the best and leave the rest.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're the best flat Earth show you've never heard about, and
Who are we?
we take a lot of pride in that, and we love it.
And looking at our numbers today, we still are.
Yeah. Never heard of us.
Friday.
Well, thank God it's flat.
Yeah, as Josh would
First
say.
rule of IRM is don't mention IRM.
Well, I definitely was hoping for a bigger crew today a bigger audience today. I did plug us as hard as I could yesterday at the Flat Earth meetup. So,
Well,
a few of
I
them
always
were
have to say that
subbed.
I never listened to a live program until a couple of months ago. I literally download programs and
There you
listen
go.
to them on my MP3. So
Yeah.
unless you know how many people are downloading your show, then we've no idea where we're getting to. But we're obviously getting somewhere because enough people are popping in here to to voice their opinion. So
Yeah, but I think your show, at the end of the day, if you have a small number of people, but the people that arrive at your show are a better quality, because let's be honest, there's 3-4 live show hangouts every day these days. I mean, it's time consuming, and it's the same old rehash. You guys aren't rehashing every day. You get on once a week. No, but that is the best thing you can do for the show, because these guys what they're occupying is they're occupying large groups of people now. So each little podcast has got their own group of people which is following them on a daily basis, and it's like, really, guys, how do you do this?
Yeah,
you know,
they need new classification on YouTube. They need live and a live now. You know,
yes.
As in we're actually freaking live. We're not just live broadcasting, but. Yep.
Yeah, that is the important one. So if you keep the intelligence higher and you keep the rehashing out of it, then I think you guys will one day make it. But it's going to be difficult, because you must remember, popularity always draws first.
Mm-hmm. We see that, but like I said earlier, we're 6 heads, right? So a lot of the ego that you find in smaller groups, or maybe in just a person's channel, we do a great job of beating the crap out of each other to keep ourselves in check.
We definitely take the piss.
Popularity is one thing, but it's not what it drives me. Actually, meeting people like Stan and you, Rolf, as well, who are driven like me
and Molly.
in terms of Molly, and in terms of searching for the truth. That one person like that's better than a million.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So, and actually, from tonight, guys, there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk to you about down the line. Launches, the cameras. There's a lot of stuff that you've alluded to, and you sound like guys that are actually going to do. Don't sound like you clearly are guys that do stuff, and
they're
that's,
doing it.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we want to continue with.
Yes.
So
that's the thing. Everybody can do something. If it's no more than just share a show that you like maybe ours, with somebody who isn't aware of what's going on. Maybe just a little seed, and it'll start growing in their mind, and they'll start asking the questions and doing the research, because you have to do it for yourself. No one can make you see this.
No. And the old flat earth activism is great, but you know, these people are doing activism with a very short-sighted insight, because they're getting people to look at curve. I mean, this whole thing about curve of what? Don't tell people, have you seen the curvature? Because curvature can be seen all over the place. Have you seen the horizon curve? Is perhaps a better semantic.
Right.
Because the horizon doesn't curve. You know what I mean? So people are going out there, and they're actually trying to drive people into researching for something, but they're using the incorrect words. This authentic intent as well. I mean, great for the guy. I don't know if any of you have watched him, but great for the guy. But he needs to smoothen out, and he needs to be able to. And he went up against Tim Osmond today. That was actually quite intriguing. Did any of you guys listen to that?
No, I missed it. I'm gonna check it out.
No, but we've been going up against a lot of people on Fridays. It's just our mentality is, though, because we have the people too, we're gonna try and make sure we have a show every week. 365 Flat Friday, we will deliver.
Yeah, but you guys haven't played Gav's video yet. Come on, before you guys finish the show, play Gav's video quickly, so that the last 15 people can see that.
Which video do you want us to show?
Yeah, drop us a link, man.
The last one in the Hangout, man.
Let me see.
Should start with the Matrix scene.
Where's that? In what Hangout? Sorry.
It's here in the chat Hangout. I'm trying to pull it up and share screen. 1 second.
Yeah, the last one. That's it.
We opened with your little ditty too. This Josh did. That was kind of cool.
That tune, yeah. Well, I heard him turn it off. He was like, "Hang on a minute," bloody swearing loads. But I heard you when you started the show. You were saying about when is everyone going to, kick off and rise up against the bullshit. And it's like, yeah, and that song, they're in the streets and people come along, tell them to move along, and they're like, "Nah, fuck off, mate."
Oh, that was the song that Josh was playing on the break. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing that
Oh,
song.
gotcha.
I'm so bad at this.
What? There's a video that
You
goes
should-
along with that, is there?
All right.
No, this is.
Can you hear it?
Okay.
No, I can't hear it.
I knew that. Give me a second. Oh my goodness.
I'm
I actually
not
don't have any
seeing-
of the controls here.
Not seeing it in any chat.
All right. 1 second, guys. Just talk amongst yourselves.
All right. Wheel it back and come again, my selector.
No, you should check out Fat Bollard. They are quite good. They do a few good songs, like Breathe, and but it's spelled fat with PH. Fat Bollard. Check them out there. They're a bunch of blokes from Cornwall. They all had houses, jobs, and stuff, and then they all just said, "What the hell are we doing?" Sold it all, bought some caravans, and just travel around England, just busking. Just
You got a
seeing
link
the
for
world.
them, Stan?
They're on YouTube. Just type it in and pull them up, mate. Loads of it. I can post links and
What would I type in on YouTube?
Fat Bollard.
Fat Bollard.
Yeah, PH.
PHATBOLLARD. Never heard of it.
Millionaire, and there's Brave. There's I think it's Seasons Session or something. That's
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
good.
2 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, they do like a set on there, and that's really good. They have got, I think, 3 or 4 albums out as well, but you can only buy them on the streets.
Brilliant.
Best place to buy them.
Just on the streets, you have to go. You have a look on. They are on Facebook, I think, or something, and you have a look where they are, and they're just traveling around, you know. Next time they're down close, like to me, like Portsmouth or Southampton, I'll make a point of going over and watching them through. You know.
Can you see my screen? Is it
Yeah.
these guys?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, that's them. Fat Bollard.
Are you getting sound, John?
No.
No.
Yeah, I'm
Nah.
having trouble too. I'm not getting sound to come up.
We
I don't know
need-
what's going on.
Nah,
We
hang on.
need
It's
Mr. Wizard
We
here
need that
again.
guy, and he is still dog chasing.
Yeah. Mr. Wizard.
His dog's run away.
Well, we
Yeah,
should wrap it up,
unfortunately,
really, shouldn't we?
Perhaps we should.
I think it's time. It is 9 bells here, and I agree. Take us
coming
out,
Great
up
show,
Paul.
guys. I really enjoyed it. Stan, wicked talking with you, mate, again.
Yeah, definitely,
likewise.
man. Yeah, it's good coming on, having a chat with you guys.
Yeah, cheers, Rolf. Cheers, Stan.
Thank you,
Cheers,
guys.
Molly.
Thank
Molly,
you,
thanks
Molly.
for showing up.
Thanks all
Yeah,
the
God
guys
bless,
at the
Molly.
IRL.
Speak soon.
Before we leave, I promised someone I would give a shout out. I completely
Oh.
forgot earlier. Miss Carolyn Gutman Day is putting a sign up, or wanting to get a sign up during the eclipse here in Portland on the main highway here, the main I-5, and she's got an email address. It's forcgd@yahoo.com. That's F as in Frank, O as in Oscar, R as in Ralph, C as in Charlie, G as in George, D as in David, @yahoo.com. Get in touch with her if you'd like to help in any small way. If you're here locally in the Oregon area where I am temporarily, definitely get in touch with her. You can also contact Chris Cox with the Oregon Flat Earth organization here, Flat Earth Oregon, sorry. And he can get you in touch with Miss Carolyn Gutman Day. Just wanted to make sure everybody knows she's trying to get up a sign to let people know something about Flat Earth in the Oregon area where I am temporarily. Definitely get in touch with her. You can also contact Chris.
There's an echo.
Wow, deja vu.
Big old echo.
Well,
I had a
well
quick
said, Walt.
shout out. Sorry, James. I had a quick shout out to Tommy Boyd, who was a children's presenter back in the 80s and 90s in the UK. I found out that he went out on major UK mainstream radio in 2009, talking about flat Earth. So yeah, look up Tommy Boyd, Is the Earth Flat? Sorry, carry on.
Nice about Tommy. Didn't know about that one. Have to look into that. John, thanks for bringing that to us, man.
It was
All right, everybody.
Thank you
Take it
all
easy.
for hanging out with us. I'm going to just see if I can play my screen with a little teaser here at the end for, I guess, just to fill space until we get Josh back in to shut us all down. You won't hear the audio, but you will see some interesting things here in 1 second.
Right. Big shout out to all the regulars, all the listeners, all the participators today. Stay flat, enjoy the weekend, and be safe. And be kind
to you guys
everybody.
too.
Be kind, people.
Keep it flat, keep it real. Enjoy. We'll chat
Right,
soon.
Wolf, thanks a lot.
God bless.
All right, guys. Have fun, eh?
Good
Cheers,
night,
everyone, and chat.
Cheers.
See you
Thanks,
later.
man.
Stop
Speak
streaming. Sasa hivi bwana.